Atlantic and the Northeast, from pretty much eastern Dakotas right through the nation's heartland to the Big Apple. Even Las Vegas got snow from this storm system.
Fox's Rick Leventhal in New York City, where it's expected to top 50 degrees after the storm tomorrow. Meantime, the latest snow makes it a record February for Minneapolis-St. Paul, over 30 inches so far for the month. An hour to the close on Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow's up 63 points. This is Fox News.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
California and the Trump administration often disagree on various issues, and now negotiations have apparently broken down over special rules allowing the state to create its own emission standards for cars.
Natural Resources Defense Counsel attorney David Pettit says this means both sides are probably headed now for a court fight. He says the Trump administration, in defense of automakers, likely got stuck on California's rules over how many zero-emission vehicles need to be made and sold.
That, I think, is a thorn in the side of the auto industry because they'll tell you that they're losing money on those.
California already sued last year when the Trump administration said it wanted to freeze mileage and emission standards and take away California's ability to set its own emission standards through a waiver. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says an Alabama woman who joined ISIS in Syria is not a U.S. citizen, has no valid passport, and will not be allowed to come back to the U.S. In a written statement, also strongly advising all U.S. citizens not to travel to Syria. Police chased down a man accused of stealing a soda truck.
An Oklahoma man's looking at a slew of charges, starting with stealing a Pepsi truck. Police say Stephen Hart stole the rig while the driver was unloading soda, leaving a trail of cans as cops chased him through Tulsa. After they caught up with him, Hart allegedly tried to run off while the truck rear-ended a school bus with no kids on board.
Fox's Lillian Wu. Police say Hart tried to escape again while he was being booked into custody. He's reportedly claiming it all started after a fight with his girlfriend. Again, on Wall Street, stocks are mostly higher, though the NASDAQ is now down about 2 points. Oil prices are rising, now over $57 a barrel. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. As Tropical Storm Wu-Tip continues its approach towards the Marianas, the Office of Civil Defense this morning announcing that Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Joint Region Deputy Commander Brigadier General Gentry Boswell anticipate placing Guam and the respective military bases on island in condition of readiness 3 at 8 o'clock this morning. At Core 3, damaging winds of between 39 and 57 miles per hour are expected within 48 hours. Tropical Storm Wu-Tip expected to intensify into a typhoon later today. Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Gard telling the Guam Daily Post that the storm may intensify into a typhoon later today. It's expected to pass south of Guam early Sunday morning. Gard said Guam residents will likely see winds pick up on Saturday with strong winds through Sunday afternoon. He expects we'll be right on the edge of tropical storm force winds in the range of 35 to 45 miles an hour on Sunday. Guam DOE Superintendent John Fernandez says DOE is already making preparations to open some shelters. Residents are advised to make preparations for the storm now as well. Ray and Mike will take a closer look at the storm track after this newscast. The Guam Attorney General's office is considering its legal options after learning that President Donald Trump's emergency declaration may divert $750 million in Department of Defense construction funds intended for military buildup projects on Guam. The AG issued that statement on Twitter after yesterday morning's announcement from Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas that he has received information indicating that Trump's emergency declaration would negatively impact the Guam military buildup in a substantial way. On Friday, Trump declared that a national emergency exists on the border with Mexico in order to gain access to billions of dollars that Congress refused to give him to build a border wall. On Monday, 16 states joined together to file a lawsuit against the emergency declaration, which allows funds to be diverted from spending programs already approved and allocated by the U.S. Congress. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, who is in Washington this week for meetings with federal officials, also issued a statement yesterday saying her administration is closely monitoring the situation and intends to discuss concerns related to the military realignment with federal officials this week. We'll have more news after this.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic dill pickles and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between two buns. Chili's. More life happens here.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. A Port Authority of Guam board member, a community activist, and the Port of Guam's previous general manager are all calling for Rory Respicio to resign from his position as Port GM. The calls for Respicio to step down follow a report in yesterday's Guam Daily Post that his discussions about mediating the $17 million Guam YTK dispute were more extensive than he previously acknowledged. The board was not officially informed of Respicio's intent to seek mediation with Guam YTK until it was placed on the board agenda February 12th. At that meeting, Respicio told board members he had only reached out informally to YTK. However, email exchanges obtained by the Post reveal that a mediator had already been chosen, a mediation protocol had been drawn up, and the first mediation session was already scheduled the day before the port met and first learned of Respicio's plans. The emails show that Port legal counsel Mike Phillips advised against proceeding with any mediation effort prior to the board's review and approval. When contacted for comment, former Port GM Joanne Brown said she thinks Respicio should resign, saying the emails show that the mediation efforts were much further along than Respicio initially acknowledged. Ken Leon Guerrero of Citizens for Public Accountability told a legislative committee yesterday, "We have a rogue general manager at the port. He accused Respicio of lying to the board and called for his resignation as well." And outgoing Port Board General member Oscar Calvo told the Post that Respicio should resign, saying it's all politics and political favors. Take Care Insurance Company called a news conference yesterday to declare that the government of Guam cannot afford a bill that would force health insurers bidding for the GovGuam health insurance contract to include Guam Regional Medical City in their networks. Speaker Tina Munya-Barnes introduced the measure. Take Care President and Chief Executive Officer Joseph Husline told reporters that Bill 30-35, as it's now written, will only increase the cost of health care on Guam. GRMC, he said, is at least 3 times more expensive than GMH. Naturally, when the costs go up, said Husline, your premiums will go up as well. In response, GRMC Vice President Eric Plinsky told the Post that the only health plan on Guam that has not placed GRMC in its network is Take Care. Therefore, the only plan whose rates will increase from GRMC being placed in network will be Take Care, he said. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at Woo-Tip.
It's 6:13 in the morning, and yes, as we have all week long, we'll start with a trip over to the National Weather Service. Mike is with us this morning. Good morning, Mike, at the National Weather Service. What has it been like all night?
Well, I mean, the storm right now is right down near this southwest of Chuk, so they're the ones that's getting the winds right now, and smaller islands down there too, like Puluwat, Losop.
Yeah, I understand max sustained winds now about 65 miles an hour associated with that storm?
In the center of it, yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, as I understand, I'm looking at the last advisory that was issued here, and from the way it looks, there are no watches or warnings for Guam and the Mariana Islands at this time. When do you expect that to change?
Probably today, because we usually do that when it's within 48 hours of any kind of damaging winds expected or starting, like the tropical storm force winds. And the current forecast shows that starting on Saturday morning. So then this morning, that would be 48 hours from that occurring. So sometime today, we will probably do something.
Yeah, I understand that Homeland Security, the governor, the acting governor, the folks at Navy and the Joint Region have got us going into Core 3 at 8 o'clock this morning. Joint Typhoon Warning Map looks like the track could be taking it a little south of Guam. You want to comment on that?
Yeah, that's the current track, and some models bring it close and all that. I guess they're kind of in the middle of everything. But even if it does that, I'm it's probably that we won't get, there's going over the island directly, but we're going to be on the outer edges, and the winds will definitely increase here.
Any forecast on what the wind speeds are going to be when it comes by?
Well, we're looking at for Guam, what we have in the forecast right now was on Saturday, you're at least looking at something like 35 to 45 miles an hour, and then when you go into Sunday, you have like higher, so it's tropical storm force winds likely.
For the island, but as the storm makes its closest point of approach, will it be a typhoon by then?
Oh yes, it will. Yeah.
Okay, so is it depending on how close it gets to us, we'll either get typhoon strength winds or high tropical storm force winds.
Right now, the models keep the typhoon force winds outside of the area, but it'll be close, and it will be a typhoon probably even this afternoon. That's what we're looking at. So it's going to be. It's expected to be. I can't be certain. Things weaken, but it's expected to be like a typhoon force when it passes by.
The concern is with just a little bit more of a jog to the north, it could put this thing in our neighborhood and place us in a little bit of danger here. Are there any factors that you are seeing right now at the National Weather Service that could make that northward jog or break a little bit north early?
Not so much, because all the models seem to be in general agreement with it. Staying south and west of the island. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at. And this time of the year, when you have strong high pressures in the north, that, tends to keep it more going more in the direction that it's going. If it was more summertime with a weaker high pressure up there, then it would probably have a higher chance of going north. So it seems, I can't say certain because anything can happen, but the odds are that it will behave that way.
All right. Well, keep my fingers crossed that things keep moving in that direction. Obviously, it's still down there on that side of the island. Until it's up there on the other side of the island, I'll keep an eye on things. Mike, I appreciate your time as usual. We'll talk again tomorrow probably.
Yep, we'll be here.
6:17 in the morning. The forecast for today, partly cloudy skies, breezy, isolated light showers, winds from the northeast, 20 miles to 25 miles an hour, highs around 88 degrees, and overnight lows should be about, cool 76 degrees. Sunrise this morning will be at 6:41, sunset at 6:27. Some of those isolated showers have already fallen on Guam's roadways, so build in a little bit of extra time before you hit the road, because it's probably going to slow you or the guy in front of you down. He might be one of those white-knuckle drivers, doesn't know how to drive on wet streets. High surf advisory in effect, and high risk of rip currents through Tuesday afternoon along north and east-facing reefs. Again, for those of you that like to pin down the location of the storm, 4.8 degrees north, 149.4 degrees east, 675 miles southeast of Guam. Max sustained winds right now about 65 miles an hour. Presently moving in a westward direction, 280 degrees at about 13 miles an hour. And that'd put it here somewhere in between Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning, I think, is where I made that conversion based on the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. We'll take a look at the weather radar first and then go back to satellite and see what Mike's got to say.
Got some isolated showers rolling through. They have been all night. That'll be pretty much how things are for now and through the foreseeable future, at least through the weekend and into Monday. Probably a little more rain as the storm gets closer. The good news is, as the storm continues to track west, it will be less and less of a threat to us, because at some point it will turn a little bit to the northwest, but it's almost due south of us now. So I'm starting to feel like we're not going to get as much in terms of rain out of the system, and even wind as well. You pulled up the graphic earlier from the JTWC, and if you can see the wind forecast radii there, and you can see actually it's bigger on the north side of the storm, and that's because of the pressure gradient we were talking about. So the winds are actually going to have a farther reaching effect on the storm to the north of the storm, which we just happen to be on that side. But as long as the center stays down south, we'll deal with much less rainfall. So we're just going to be dealing with the squeeze play between the low pressure there and the high pressure to the north. And the high pressure to the north may be what saves us here and kind of keeps it pushed on down and moving on through. So that's pretty much what we're looking for. You're looking at the satellite there, that little ball down there, that's what they call the central dense overcast. It's looking quite uniform there. The black in the middle, the highest cloud tops. There'll probably be an eye popping in there sometime later this afternoon as it achieves typhoon status.
All right, and again, the word from the National Weather Service and the Department of Homeland Security is, as of 8 o'clock this morning, the government of Guam, island of Guam, will go into condition of readiness 3. On its current track, the system expected to pass south of Guam by Saturday. We can expect to see the weather begin to deteriorate by early Saturday morning, resulting in heavy showers remaining over the islands through the beginning of next week. But again, any northward deviation of the current forecast track could bring stronger winds to Guam, particularly in the southern villages. You guys down south know how it is, so make preparations, make plans. 20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. That's News and Weather Together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud?
These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
It's 6:21. You know, weird here. We got a storm in February. I'm tracking a storm in February. I don't remember the last time I tracked a storm in February. These must be crazy times. Good thing there's the crazy menu over at King's. God bless you for remembering s'mores pancakes. Yeah, Fruity Pebbles pancakes. They've got corned beef fried rice. You want something extra? You want something different? Try the adobo fried rice, a generous helping of shredded pork adobo mixed with King's famous fried rice. Then they serve, yes, their world-famous fried rice. You know, people come from all over the place to try this out, and we live here. There's two of them, one in Harmon, one in Tamuning.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by my friends over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. They're also American President lines where they're shipping the future, and Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Welcome to the program. No, I don't want to fix my collar. I like it. It's a polo-style shirt, and whenever I have the opportunity to wear a polo-style shirt, I like to pop the collar, at least until one of the more significant women in my life tell me, hey, knock it off. You're not 25 anymore. Yeah, thanks for the reminder here. It's 6:23 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Great to have you along for the ride this morning, and we'll get through the cheers list here in just a second. But first, I got to say good morning to Michael Knight. Been watching the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, looking at all the different models and all of the different possible tracks. And as Mike said, it looks like this thing is all the tracks are starting to agree a little bit more on where this thing could go. And I got to tell you, I'm not unhappy with when I woke up and looked at the JTWC and saw it so far south of Guam. That was nice.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, the GFS model had the storm literally passing right over Guam and most of the CNMI, but that's back off of that a bit. Looks like it's going to push it to the south and west. Keep the worst of the storm away from us, and that's what we hope.
And I've been in communication with Brad Rosala. They'll have about 10 o'clock this morning. They'll have their heavy weather briefing, and I think that they're looking forward to some good news up there as well. As you can imagine, coming off of U2 just a few months ago, really not that long ago, there's a whole lot of people up in the Saipan and the CNMI area that I don't know, sphincter up a little bit when it gets to be this kind of weather so close to that massive disaster that there are still a lot of places that in the CNMI where they're trying to recover from all of that. So they've got their eye on it as well, and are feeling pretty groovy about it the same way that we kind of are here this morning. 6:25 in the morning. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post and all of the big stories that we are going to be talking about yesterday. They got their hands at the Post on the text of some emails here that seem to paint the conversation that former Senator and now Port GM Roy Respicio had with folks from the YTK legal firms, and it looks like their conversations about mediation were more formal than perhaps informal. I mean, up to and including some of the lawyers that would be sitting on that mediation panel.
Yeah, it looks that way.
It sure does. And there are a number of people that are urging Port GM Roy Respicio now to resign. Yesterday it was just Ken Leon Guerrero, but there are a couple of other voices that have been added to that mix. Also, this is one of those stupid is as stupid does story. Look, this is the thing. Maybe the problem with people that are on drugs is they get stupid. We've talked about this before. You know, you get these guys on drugs. If I was on drugs, I would make sure that all of the lights on the car worked. I would make sure that the registration was up to date. I would make sure it'd be washed and waxed, because the last thing I need is any kind of attention from the Guam Police Department. You get these yahoos in the game room. I don't know if you saw this here. That I don't know, goofing off because they were stupid on drugs, and somebody puts a gas mask on. Yeah, you don't want to do that in one of those game room places, because it freaks all of the civilians out. And
you really don't want to do that.
Is there going to be a robbery here? You know, because the game rooms are like the only places that still have money in them. So you can see these guys going, whoa, dude's got a gas mask on. This is the beginning of it. Somebody's going to pull out a weapon, and there's going to be a robbery. So the cops are called, and they get the guy goofing off with a gas mask. But, oh, by the way, we've got all kinds of drugs on us. Hey, you know, I'm just saying, you know, if you're on, I thought that drug was supposed to make you paranoid. I thought it was supposed to make you like, oh, my God, there's my mother right there, right? She's right behind me. You remember that?
Which drug? Which one did they have?
Apparently all of them. Some guys were snorting crushed up Xanax. Another guy had a glass pipe with residue on it. So I'm just thrilled to be here with this pure and chaste group of people like Kevin Kerrigan and Michael Knight and all the people here. Ding, da, 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 da.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Shoot, Blute, why not? Great crowd that we've got already lined up this morning. Debbie Picklesheimer's there. My buddy Mark Cruz, Ismael Velez, Derwin Flores, and Jackie Cabrera. Johnson Nicholas saying, have a great Thursday, Friday. All the, what did I name it today? I named the condition of readiness 4, but Guam again and condition of readiness, number 3 as of 8 o'clock this morning. And my guess is, yeah, the question is not, is there going to be school today? Somebody's asking online, is there going to be school? There will be school today. Whether or not there will be school tomorrow, different story, kind of depends on where they're looking at the clock, closest point of approaches, and things like that. But
I don't think tomorrow will be inhibited in any way of having school.
You know what? Sometimes the decision is based on reality. Sometimes it's based on, there's a lot of people want the day off. Just make another day off for everybody. Yeah. Just stay home. Well, keep an eye on that. We'll find out from. You know what I want to find? If we can get a hold of Jenna. The thing that I'm curious about is, and even though the track seems to be moving a little bit more south of Guam than it was when we were looking at it yesterday, I'd still like to know is there a FEMA in town? Do we have FEMA guys? Because you remember last year, rolling into the storms that we had here, and finally you two up in Saipan, the great blessing behind all of that was dudes from FEMA were here. They were on the ground. I mean, working with the people over at Homeland Security anyway, and all of a sudden here comes the big winds. Oh, yeah, we make a phone. Let me just send a WhatsApp to Washington, D.C. and start prepping things up. And so that saved a lot of time in the run up, the return to almost normalcy around here, and in the CNMI. Oh wait, who else is there? Rico Blancaflor, good. Ray, Kevin, Michael, and Guam. Greg Massey, James Howard is there, and then I see me, Commissioner Roy Gamboa, Pat Normadine Flores, Valerie Lynn Maigi, Bob O'Malley. And Bob O'Malley says, I feel the storm is going to be like a U2. Okay, so let's hope for other there, cuz let's hope for other than you two. Although you remember the great memes that were coming out of, including the one that got my attention is a picture of the band U2, and it said coming to Guam, and I thought, no, wait, really? And then I forgot U2 versus YUTU. Because I'm a dumb. Bandits on the line, Ed Buendicho, Lillian Cruz, Carmen Leon Guerrero, Lee Stolley. Ken LG says, today looks like it's shaping up to be a perfect example of the Chinese definition of interesting times. You'll need to call in and tell me what you mean by that. I think it's always interesting times. But remember, interesting times, disaster, opportunity are all the same character. Bob Lizama, Felix Rages, Ted Lewis saying good morning. Karina Gutierrez Ludwig, Cheryl Ochai. I see Eunice Mendiola's online. So is cousin Tommy Barcinas. Randy Kruger's waving. Doris Mendiola. Doris, your Facebook profile picture is upside down. I'm assuming that's on purpose because you're happening like that. Anita Muffness is there. There's the Valentine's eyes. Zaywert Franco Julian says, good morning, Ray. Is there school today? As far as I know, yes, there is school today. Tommy Barcina. What is it? Bob O'Malley say you're forgetting about East Agania also. Wait, what are you referring to there? Sometimes I say things and then I immediately forget I say them. So you'll need to remind me about what it is. Hey, Christian Ong, Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada, Debbie Picklesheimer again, Nolly Laurenti. This is my classmate, Nolly. Zaywert Julian and Francis Solis. Deborah Wise says, yes, there are still FEMA people up in Saipan. You know, Deb, the word that I got from Brad when I asked him the question was, yeah, we got people up in Saipan. In fact, they just opened, I understand, the temporary classrooms. Now, I don't know if that's opened the temporary classrooms for actual classes or whether they're using those temporary classrooms for staging of some kind of other activities. But still in all, it's nice to know that there are those people up there. And as I said, it just makes it that much quicker, that much easier to be able to call for help when you've got the posse right there in the building. Anyway, 6:32. There's more on that, more conversation. Obviously, we need to spend a little bit more time on the weather today and tomorrow. So anticipate hearing more about that. There is some great political gossip out there. Aside from the yahoos that put the gas mask on in the game room, there are a couple of other interesting things in the magistrate reports that I will share with you this morning. For no other reason, because I find them unbelievably amusing. There are just some people out here with the stupidity that comes with the drugs, and then there's just the random crazies that are out there that I think I need to warn you about. So that's all coming up here as the Ray Gibson Show continues on 93.3 The Point. And it will continue with headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, 4 men arrested on Monday night after police responded to a report of a man wearing a gas mask inside a Tamuning game room. 31-year-old Juan Thomas Balanon, 32-year-old Alan James Roberto, 30-year-old Brandon Rufus Chandler, and 30-year-old Daniel Suk de Gracia have all been charged with drug offenses. The magistrate report states that when police arrived at the game room, Roberto kept his hands inside his pockets after police told him to show his hands. Meanwhile, Chandler had a black metal baton sticking out of his pocket. Officers conducted a pat-down of the men and discovered Roberto in possession of a plastic straw containing a white powdery substance and a black case containing 16 green pills. Following the outcry caused by Superior Court Judge Michael Berdalio's decision in a dog shooting case, 2 senators have introduced legislation to strengthen local laws against animal abuse. Senators Luis Muña and Sabina Perez issuing separate statements yesterday that they were dismayed by Judge Berdalio's ruling. The judge dismissed charges last week against Gerald Wayne Cruz, who was arrested and charged after a pet dog named Pugwa was found shot to death in a Jigo family carport last September. More animals were later found shot and killed in the same neighborhood. Judge Berdalio had concluded that the shooting was not cruel because the pet did not suffer. Senator Muña introduced a bill that would make killing another person's pet a third-degree felony regardless of how the perpetrator kills or seriously injures the animal. Perez also introduced a measure that would make it a third-degree felony for anyone to cruelly or maliciously cause the death of an animal. Hunting, game, self-defense, and other legal exemptions would, of course, remain in place. A man found with a guidebook on manufacturing methamphetamine, baggies with meth, and a scale and glass pipes has been convicted on drug possession charges. Joshua Brandon Perez was pulled over in December after he was seen repeatedly swerving on the road. Officers found meth residue in a plastic baggie, pipes, and packaging material, as well as a book called The Secrets of Methamphetamine Manufacture, including recipes for MDA, ecstasy, and other psychedelic amphetamines. At the time of his arrest, Paris was on pretrial release in an attempted burglary case. Sentencing is scheduled for April 26 before Judge Anita Sikola. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
That's a good plan. At 6:35, Kevin, that's iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn what you can about the incredible plans for 2019. My, what an exciting year this has already turned into, huh? And it could be exciting for your telecom needs as well. Push-to-talk mobile internet plans with iConnect.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
It's 6:36 in the morning, and if your world is full of the same old lame old hamburgers, hit reset. Wendy's went and made a whole new world with a new made-to-crave menu. Peppercorn mushroom melt with savory mushrooms, barbecue cheeseburger, a sweet and smoky southwestern barbecue flavor, and the sauce bacon cheeseburger. It's got bacon on it for days. You know what? It had so much bacon on it. I had one of these last night. For a day. Had so much bacon on it, it was actually falling out of the bun. That's. I mean, like you eat a taco and there's all this stuff that falls out of the taco and it falls on the. It was the same thing with the bacon on this sandwich from Wendy's. So I want you to try that on the Made to Crave menu today. Hi, this is Ray Gibson from The Morning Show on 93.3 The Point. And we're celebrating our one-year anniversary this February. The Point is your news talk headquarters with top news, sports, weather, and traffic, and, of course, always a little extra. We want to thank our listeners, fans, and followers for keeping us on our toes and joining us on this journey. The Ray Gibson Show Anniversary Celebration is brought to you by Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Yeah, the roads are clear. I could make it a long report or I could make it a short report. Right now, traffic, the roads are clear. You shouldn't have any problem getting from one place to another. If you leave the house right now, remember that there are some isolated showers that have been falling all night long over various parts of the island, and that has made some of the roadways a little slicker than usual. So build a little bit extra time. I know you know how to drive. I just worry about the other guy in front of you and the yahoos behind you. So watch out for those fellas, too. 6:38 in the morning, and that's right now traffic here in The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Zowie wowie. Michael, 20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning, and it is Thursday. I just leave that there. You can fill in the rest of it, and with whatever your favorite mental memes are for a Thursday, and I'll just take a look at all the other things that I think are going to end up being interesting to me. Again, we are in condition of readiness 4 right now, and about an hour and 20 minutes, we will be in condition of readiness 3. Now, I don't know if that starts anything in your office or your shop. Certainly, if you're one of those guys that's in charge of making sure that there's gas in the generator and oil is topped off in the generator, and everybody knows how to switch from one to the other, it might be a good time. Those of you that are bosses, I know we just recently did this, but it's amazing how quickly people will forget about when you are to release employees based on the handbook, and a reminder about when it is that the employees are supposed to come back at the declaration of condition of readiness 4, because there's some people that stay gone for days. unless they actually hear me on the radio saying, yes, your boss called at the hotel and said, we'd like to get all of the employees back to work here because the guests are scared to pieces and we need to change the linens and give them some new towels. So if you work in our hotel, now is a good time to return to work. Also, we'll also start taking a look at we didn't have too much of a problem with gouging last time, did we? When does that kick in? When do the anti-gouging and thug pirate retailer laws go into effect? Is that Core 2 or is it the declaration of Core 3? So is the price of gas will cost you tomorrow what it cost you today? Ice and water will cost you tomorrow what it cost you today. A cold six-pack of beer will cost you whatever. Because we did hear about things like that happening up in Saipan. So just, as I said, there are going to be things that kick in. I've got a picture that I want to put up on Facebook. On Facebook Live, if just for no other reason, Cindy Crawford is celebrating her 53rd birthday today. Cindy Crawford, right? She's been gorgeous for forever, and that is a current picture of Cindy Crawford on her 53rd birthday. No, it's not. It's not. I saw some pictures. I've got some pictures, recent pictures of Cindy Crawford. And while she is still gorgeous, I just think, for strictly nostalgic purposes, 80s. That's the 90s view, I think, of Cindy as she is celebrating, again, her 53rd birthday. And I might leave that up there for, 3 or 4 hours, something like that, just because she's so cute. Anyway, it's 6:41 in the morning. No, Ray, let's put some other more meaningful things up that might have some kind of relevance to people. If you're just waking up this morning wondering, okay, what happened with that storm? We did get Mike from the National Weather Service, and it looks like the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and all the other models seem to be pushing seam. At this time, at Thursday, at 6:42, are projecting the storm, typhoon strength storm, to pass south of Guam. It will pass far south enough to Guam, so we won't get typhoon strength winds based on the current forecast. This can change in a couple of hours, as you know. But this is the current track. It still puts us inside the radius for some damaging winds, so you need to be prepared for all of that. I'd prepare all the way up to a typhoon strength event happening around here, but that's just me. For those of you that are watching and keeping track of these things, that is the absolute latest track from the guys over at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. 888-8255-888-TALK. And as I said, there's a couple of really interesting things on the magistrate reports. And I wanted to go over this one here. This is not a dog shooting report. This is not, meth heads running around in a game room with gas masks on their head. It's just the random nuttiness, the random crazies that we are out here. This is one of those reasons why people gun up. Because you just never know when you're going to run into somebody like this, and you never know what their frame of mind is going to be like. On or about February 19th, about 9 o'clock, the police received a complaint regarding a criminal trespass, Trevor Way in Jigo. Trevor Way in Jigo. Starting to hear more stories about places up in Jigo. At any rate, officers met with Kaylee Brock, who stated that when she returned home, she noticed a broomstick had been moved near the front entrance. When she checked the inside of her residence, she noted a Guam identification card issued to a Jimbo Stephan wedged beneath the front door of her kitchen. Do you know a Jimbo Stephan? Checking the home surveillance footage shows a male individual, a.k.a. a man, but this is cop speak, right? So it was a male individual, later identified as Jimbo Stephan, walk from the roadway, open the unlocked gate before heading to the main entrance. The defendant walks towards the front door and appears to be trying to open it. Officers met up with the defendant, who stated that he needed, you'll love this, he stated he needed the help of a white family. and that they would, quote, understand his pain. The defendant stated that he noted a white lady who lived on Trevor Way and was going there to seek help. He admitted that he opened the front gate to make entry to the property and proceeded to the front door. After knocking several times, he attempted to open the locked door using his Guam ID to slide it between the door jamb. However, the ID fell on the other side of the door. Oh! What do you do? What do you do? There it is. Red-handed, guys. Red-handed. Based on that, Jimbo Stephan was charged with criminal trespass as a petty misdemeanor. But you got, I think in that case, you got everything you need, don't you? You got the guy on surveillance video walking up to the house, checking the door, and then you got the guy who leaves his driver's license, his Guam ID, on the other side of the door because he tried to jam the thing open. Amazing. Amazing, isn't it? I hope that this guy gets the help that he needs, whether it's from a white family that would understand his pain, or maybe from somebody of the mental health and substance abuse, or whatever we're calling it these days. It's 6:45 in the morning. Every once in a while, I get a chance to talk with my pal Sean Gumatautas. Johnny, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm trying to remember if we had a storm in February while you were working with the governor's office. You remember?
Man, I got to tell you, I don't recall if we've had one in February. It's been a really, really long time, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I forget. You've been at it. You've been out of there for a long time as well. 6:46 in the morning, and I noticed, I was whipping through the news, and I noticed a classified ad that says that the courts are looking for somebody to provide them with a $15 million loan. And I just thought, are you guys okay? Do we need to have a bake sale or a car wash or something like that?
Well, you know, Ray, what we're working on at the courthouse is, years ago we put out our facilities master plan, kind of looking at what the judiciary of Guam will look like in the years to come. Obviously, as you know, we just finished the roof project at the Guam Judicial Center.
The Guam Judicial Center is like every airport I've ever flown into. It's always under construction somewhere. There's something going on. There's a crew. There's something's got a scaffold on it. There has been since 1985.
Well, at least our roof is almost done. But actually, the not so much the roof, because we're just we're putting the finishing touches, but we're looking at an expansion of our, well, not expansion, but a kind of a modernization of the historic courthouse, Ray. For us, it's an exciting time for. We've now, I think we're into the 50th anniversary of or beyond of of that center. So now it's like eligible for different types of programs. And so for us, it's to modernize it, and it would be a push to move the Supreme Court into the old courthouse, and kind of move our resources around in the Judicial Center.
Interesting. So $15 million for that kind of modernization, though? I mean, that sounds like a lot of money.
Oh, there's also, we have.
Where are you getting your stuff from? You got to buy it. You got to go when Home Depot's on sale. You got to use the credit card. They give you 0 interest.
We're watching everything on all those construction efforts, like everyone else is in this community. So,
sure.
But it's not just that, Ray. It's also the expansion of parking in our area. You know, our campus is pretty big, but there's obviously so much happening, and we just want to make sure we're able to do that. Attack our parking issues in the Judicial Center. I mean, if as you know, you've been on jury duty.
Thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that.
Across the street.
Yeah. Well, that's as far as I'm concerned. You got Shirley's parking is court parking.
We're not supposed to park.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But so $15 million. You're looking for $15 million. And now, how are you going to pay this back?
Obviously, our judicial building fund is our main repayment source for that. As you know, when there are traffic citations, and they are paid into the judiciary, it goes into that fund to make sure that continues to be to make sure that it maintains it. So, but yes, it's not just that, Ray. It's just we have other as we're growing, there's other parts of the building that still, even though the building seems to be on the surface always in great shape, we just want to make sure we're taking care of it so that it can last even longer.
Okay, now with regard to the parking, because for a lot of people, you're right. It's I got to park someplace. I got jury duty. I just need to go in there and take care of a ticket or something like that. For the vast unwashed public that are not deep into the criminal justice system or all of the civil cases that you've got going on there, will there be a view to expanding the parking? I mean, is it possible that you guys could go up a floor and build up a couple of parking ramps so that you can accommodate the seeming growing number of people that are using that court facility?
Yeah, I think if you ask our friends who built the Guam museums, going up is always so challenging, and then also because of where we sit in the historic Higatnya. So it's not just the consideration. It could be, but our master plan calls for at least the expansion of the old courthouse, and then construction of little annexes connected to the main building. It does also the parking is the biggest part of it. As you know, when you drive in near that building there up on Santa Ramon Hill, all the way through the cliffside, there's quite a bit of property there. It's also for us to acquire some of those areas to allow us to expand our facilities. Our campus is, again, fairly big, but there's other areas in there that we want to definitely secure so that we can even move some of our services to these other areas.
Well, there's that whole area that was laid open when they raised the administration building a couple of years back. Could you adopt that? I mean, I know that that's overflow parking for the courts now, but it's not a great parking area because of the age of the asphalt that's down there and the uneven pavement between the asphalt and the foundation of the building. Could you guys?
Question for Carlo Branch at the Guam legislature, because it's under the jurisdiction of.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm still mad because they kicked out the food trucks.
And I think a lot of people are.
Right? I mean, there was a great food truck thing going. You got the police department over there. You got the post office over there. You got the Plaza de España on one side, and then just over there would be the judiciary. And I know there were a lot of people that were taking advantage of going out there and getting a hot dog or a plate of something. And they said, no, we're the legislature. We're in charge. Get out. But
we share the parking with the academy. So they have a couple of so they have slots there, and then obviously for us it's overflow parking, many for our employees and court patrons.
All right. So basically, this is just a little bit of it's some home improvement over at the Judicial Center to the tune of about $15 million. Going to get paid back by my traffic tickets.
Yes, and also if your name and you think you might have a ticket, you might want to go on our website, guamcourts.org. There's a listing that's updated just about every day, looking at those who have outstanding traffic fines and the like. So if you think you might be on that list, to your listeners, you might want to go take a look.
That's right there, because that's still working. How's the kids doing in soccer?
They are doing fantastic. It's actually the start of the season. I think we're to week 3 now this weekend. So. Getting plenty of sunburn, but man, with this weather this weekend, it's going to be a pretty soggy one.
Yeah, touch and go. We'll keep an eye on things for you and let you know if the games are going to be on or off.
Yes, thank you, Ray, and keep up the good work. And I know as people listen to your show, they are getting all the information, especially on the weather. And that's a big thing going into this weekend for sure.
Absolutely, and we'll double up on the announcements as we like to do here to make sure that everybody knows we got a weird guy in the neighborhood just like up at Trevor Way in Jigo, so you need to prep for it. Shawnee, I'll talk to you later.
Yes, and we'll also be putting out our stuff too if anything happens with the court closures.
I'll be looking forward to your emails.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, bro. It's 888-825-5888-TALK. I'm holding in my hand, and I hope you got yours in yesterday. I'm holding. I love it when they stamp it. It says paid. You see that on the Facebook Live? It says paid to the treasurer of Guam. And what am I paying? This real property tax is what I'm paying. And so Auntie Lou. Josh Tenorio, the acting governor of Guam, there's at least a few $100s that you now have access to as a result of me paying my real property taxes. So do me a favor, just treat it like it's your money. Yeah. Just treat it like it's your money. Please, highest and best use of this dough here. I would like to see the money go, I don't know, build something nice, put some markers on the roadways, put some reflective tape around some of these poles, maybe some lights on some of these poles, so we don't have so many people that are dying because they're crossing dark streets. I think maybe we could use some of my tax dollars to support some of those upgrades as opposed to hiring people to do bush cutting at 5 o'clock in the morning at Chief Kipua Park. Just a thought. Just a thought, because then you're going to have to go back the next day when the sun is out and get all of the holidays that they missed. And anyway, 6:54 in the morning, there's all kinds of other stuff, but I do want to say good morning to Simon Sanchez and Frankie Gutierrez online, Melissa Blas Scheibel, Jerry Mendiola LZ, Pat Oliva. What is this? Is this a commercial? Says protect your home, family, and future. Call Protect Guam LLC for your quality security surveillance needs. 637-7101-2 or 3. Hey, Pat, I appreciate your industriousness.
Got to charge him $5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here, Pat. We'll send a bill off in your direction. I see Carl Fakuta's there. Dave Torrey, Mary Park, Rick Leone is there. Let's go run. No, I can't. You know what? I got a couple of pains here. I feel something on the IT band, and me and the coach think it might be a good idea if I rested it and put some cold stuff on it right now. So yesterday I loosened up my belt a little bit and I put 3 bottles of grapefruit shandy right there up against where it hurts, and I'm feeling a whole lot better here today. Joe Flores is on, and so is Vicky Cordova, Chalorna Laurent, Sheila Sablon. There's a familiar name. Nice to see you there. Vince Pareto, Kate Baltazar, and Katie, are you gonna be on the radio today as well? Okay, because if you're going on the radio, I'm gonna wait until I know you're not listening, so you don't swipe any of my cool stories and my interesting observes to use in your radio show. Pat Oliva, Fita Roberto saying not looking forward to the impending storm. Fita, neither am I. I've got things to do this weekend. I've got goofing off that I absolutely need to take care of this weekend, and I'm not looking forward to putting up and then taking down shutters. I'm not looking forward to stockpiling water and sitting there with the tester trying to figure out which batteries are going to make my my flashlight work. And the thing, most of all, I can handle, and the weather recently has been cool enough, I can handle no electricity. Right? Where you just open the door over there, open the door over there, and you get this nice cross breeze going through the place. I'm okay with that. You know what I hate? Is cold water shower. I don't like the cold water shower. I don't want to do cold water shower ever. Jerry Roberts does a thing every once in a while on his Extra Point. He did one a few months back talking about how this will change your perspective on mornings, and that is to jump in the shower while it's still cold and let it warm up around you, or if you get really good at it, just continue to sit in that cold shower, and the briskness of it will wake you up and attune your brain to higher creative thinking.
I lived in the Philippines for 2 years,
Yes?
and we didn't have hot water in the house. And it didn't change my perspective at all, except to say, dang, I wish we had some hot water.
You don't want to wake up. That's the thing, isn't it? So I can handle bucket flushing, no problem. I don't like doing it, but I can handle it. I just don't want to have to put myself in a position where I've got that. You know, he's kind of a pariah around here, but Dave Davis, years ago, Dave Davis gave me a gift, and I'll never forget it. Oddly, the thing is, I've never used it. We were coming off of some storm. I can't remember which one it was back in the 2000s, and I was complaining about having to take a cold shower. So he went and was able to find somewhere on base one of these Coleman black bags, and you fill it with water, and you hang it from someplace outside, and just by virtue of the fact that it's black, even on cloudy days, it would be sufficient. It was a campfire. It was a camp shower. It would be sufficient to get the water warm enough so that you weren't freaking out about the cold falling on you. And I've never had a chance to use it. Never, ever had a chance to use it. And maybe testimony, and maybe hopefully the jinx will not wear off, and I'll be able to keep it in storage for another 10 or 15 years or something like that. We were talking about the NMI and whether or not FEMA was there. Debbie Wise says temporary classrooms for a college and rebuild for an elementary and a middle school opened just last week. Last week on the United Airlines flight from Saipan to Guam, I rode next to the contractor project manager for the Army Corps of Engineers for the temporary buildings. He was proud to say they provided 40 new buildings in 66 days, an amazing accomplishment. And he said the air conditioning was cold. That's nice. That's nice. And it's vital that we continue to refer to them as temporary buildings, because you know how it is on Guam. We would take those and say, yeah, they're temporary buildings, and then use them for another 40 years, which was the case with a lot of buildings in the Department of Education not that long ago. Hey, listen, we're closing in on 7 o'clock in the morning. Just a note, Fox News Live is going to be coming up on the other side of that. Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all of the news. Now, while he's doing all of his Guam Daily Post news, I will be going to the World Wide Web and updating the satellite imagery, the radar imagery. I'll see if there's a new track from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, and a note from Jenna and the folks over at the Department of Homeland Security. We are Core 3, that is Condition of Readiness 3, at 8 o'clock this morning, or an hour from right now.
And while you do all that, I'm going to go make my oatmeal.
Okay, now, and while you're making your oatmeal, I'm going to look at the picture there of Cindy Crawford when she was 19. And leave that up on the screen for a minute or so. We're KUSG, Hagutnya. Here comes the Fox News Live. The president's optimistic. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, ahead of his second summit with the North Korean leader next week in Vietnam.
Chairman Kim and I have a very good relationship. I wouldn't be surprised to see something work out.
Though he also says he does not think it'll be their last meeting, still aiming to get Pyongyang ultimately to denuclearize. The president's former attorney, Michael Cohen, expects to keep a delayed date with congressional committees next week, now that he has more time to recover from recent surgery. Fox's John Decker, live at the White House.
A federal judge has granted President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, a 2-month reprieve on reporting to prison. Meanwhile, the president criticizing former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who claims that Congress did not object to the FBI's investigation of the president as a possible Russian agent.
He is a disgraced man. He was terminated, not by me, he was terminated by others. The IG report was a disaster from his standpoint.
The president also telling reporters that it's up to Attorney General Bill Barr as to whether to release the special counsel's final report to Congress and to the public. Lisa?
John, the central bank still sounding upbeat about the U.S. economy in minutes from the latest Fed meeting released today.
And though some that sit at the head of the central bank say they might see interest rates go up this year, most are still sounding patient, and they do expect the consumer to remain strong, to continue spending with strong household expenditures this year. In fact, the New York Fed said that they expect consumers to spend more this year on clothing, housing, and transportation than they did last year. And that's a really big deal for the U.S. economy, since it's 2/3 powered by spending.
Fox Business Network's Susan Lee. At the closing bell, the Dow up 64 points. This is Fox News.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumay. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
An Alabama woman who left her home to join ISIS in Syria is not being allowed to return to the U.S.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Hoda Mutana is not a U.S. citizen and has no legal basis, no valid U.S. passport, no right to a passport, nor any visa to travel to the United States. 24-year-old Mutana was 19 when she left home in Birmingham, Alabama, and secretly boarded a plane to Turkey in 2014 to join ISIS. Her family says she was radicalized over the internet. After escaping ISIS, Mutana was captured by Kurdish fighters. She says she regrets her decision to align with the terror group and now wants to return to the U.S. with her 18-month-old son. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A Muslim civil rights group is calling for a congressional investigation after the U.S. government acknowledged sharing its terror watch list with more than 1,400 private entities, such as hospitals and universities. The Council on American Islamic Relations says Congress should probe why the FBI has given such broad access to that list. An emotional farewell from New York City police and a Long Island community to an officer accidentally killed while responding to an attempted robbery.
Detective Brian Simonson was called by NYPD Commissioner James O'Neill, an officer always ready to protect.
Being an NYPD cop is what Brian dedicated his life to. 18 years, 11 months, and 12 days.
On that last day, Simonson was hit and killed by friendly fire, foiling a robbery in Queens. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio comforted Simonson's wife and family, saying the city's people are grateful for his service.
Consider us all your children
your brothers, your sisters, together with you.
Officers and firefighters came to honor Simonson's memory. 2 men, the robber and the lookout, have been charged in his death.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Again, recapping Wall Street stocks finish higher, the Dow up 63 points. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with ultimate cheesy garlic bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. As Tropical Storm Wu-Tip continues its approach towards the Marianas, the Office of Civil Defense this morning announcing that Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Joint Region Deputy Commander Brigadier General Gentry Boswell anticipate placing the island in Condition of Readiness 3 at 8 o'clock this morning. At Core 3, damaging winds of 39 to 57 miles per hour are expected within 48 hours. Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Guard says Tropical Storm Wu-Tip may intensify into a typhoon later today. It is expected to pass south of Guam early Sunday morning. Guard said Guam residents will likely see winds pick up on Saturday with strong winds through Sunday afternoon. He expects we'll be right on the edge of tropical storm force winds in the range of 35 to 45 miles per hour on Sunday. Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez says DOE is already making preparations to open some shelters. Residents are advised to make their own preparations for the storm now. Ray and Mike will take a closer look at the storm track after this newscast. A Port Authority of Guam board member, a community activist, and the Port of Guam's previous general manager are now all calling for Rory Respicio to resign from his position as Port GM after a report in yesterday's Guam Daily Post that his decisions and discussions about mediating the $17 million Guam YTK dispute were more extensive than previously acknowledged. The board was not officially informed of Respicio's intent to seek mediation with Guam YTK until it was placed on the board's agenda February 12th. At that meeting, Respicio told the board he had only reached out informally to YTK. However, email exchanges obtained by the Guam Daily Post revealed that a mediator had already been chosen, a mediation protocol had been drawn up, and the first mediation session was already scheduled the day before the port met and first learned of the mediation plans. The emails show that Port Legal Counsel Mike Phillips advised against proceeding with any mediation effort prior to the board's review and approval. When contacted for comment, former Port GM Joanne Brown said she thinks Respicio should resign, saying the emails show that the mediation efforts were much further along than Respicio initially acknowledged. Ken Leon Guerrero of Citizens for Public Accountability told a legislative committee yesterday, "We have a rogue general manager at the port. He accused Respicio of lying to the port board and called for his resignation as well." Outgoing port board member Oscar Calvo also said that Respicio should resign, saying it's all politics and political favors. We'll have more news after this.
Hi, this is Ray Gibson from The Morning Show on 93.3 The Point. And we're celebrating our one-year anniversary this February. The Point is your news talk headquarters with top news, sports, weather, and traffic, and, of course, always a little extra. We want to thank our listeners, fans, and followers for keeping us on our toes and joining us on this journey. The Ray Gibson Show Anniversary Celebration is brought to you by Take Care, Our Island, Your Health Plan.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The Guam Attorney General's office is considering its legal options after learning that President Donald Trump's emergency declaration may divert $750 million in Department of Defense construction funds intended for military buildup projects here on Guam. The AG issued that statement on Twitter after yesterday morning's announcement from Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas that he has received information indicating that Trump's emergency declaration would negatively impact the Guam military buildup in a substantial way. On Friday, Trump declared that a national emergency exists on the border with Mexico in order to gain access to billions of dollars that Congress refused to give him to build a border wall. On Monday, 16 states joined together to file a lawsuit against the emergency declaration, which allows funds to be diverted from spending programs already approved and allocated by Congress. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, who is in Washington this week for meetings with federal officials, also issued a statement yesterday saying her administration is closely monitoring the situation and intends to discuss concerns related to the military buildup with federal officials. 4 men were arrested on drug charges Monday night after police responded to a report of a suspicious man wearing a gas mask inside a Tamuning game room. 31-year-old Juan Thomas Balanon was wearing the gas mask. The magistrate report does not explain why. Balanon was searched, and the complaint states he was found in possession of a black pouch containing a glass pipe with methamphetamine residue. 3 other men were also searched. 32-year-old Alan James Roberto was found in possession of a plastic straw containing a white powdery substance and a black case containing 16 green pills. Roberto initially said they were prescription pills. He later admitted they were Xanax pills, which he said he got from Balanon. Roberto said he crushed the pills and inhaled the powder through his nose. According to the complaint, Xanax pills were also found on 30-year-old Brandon Rufus Chandler when he was searched. The complaint says the pills were in a prescription bottle with someone else's name on it. And 30-year-old Daniel Sook de Gracia was also searched as well, and police found a plastic straw with a white powdery substance believed to be crushed Xanax as well. Roberto, Chandler, de Gracia, and Balanon were all arrested on drug possession charges. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Snorting Xanax, huh? What's that?
Maybe that's what the gas mask was for.
I don't know. You get in those game rooms and it's positive because they're such small and enclosed places. It could be just somebody had a really bad case of the wind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right?
You know, he had to,
It's just
no one wants to smell that while you're trying to get 3 in a row, man.
He who smelt it dealt it. It couldn't have been me. I had the gas mask on. All right, let me get you some numbers here. 4.8 north, 149.4 east. That's the location as of 4 o'clock this morning of what is tropical storm Wu Tip right now. Anticipated to go typhoon strength before too much longer, and we'll let you know about watches and warnings. Right now, there are no watches or warnings for Guam. We anticipate that's probably going to change in another 60 minutes or so. So we'll keep an eye on that. Storm about 675 miles southeast of Guam. Max sustained winds associated with the center about 65 miles an hour, and the present movement is westerly, 280 degrees at about 13 miles an hour. The forecast is expected to make a slight turn toward the west-northwest, that forecast track, with little change in forward speed over the next 24 hours. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, I can at this time show you the most recent joint typhoon warning graphic. And this is the new one. The one I showed you last hour was warning number 6. This is warning number 7. And it does not show that much of a change. I'm struggling to see. It's like that little thing they have in the Daily Post where you're supposed to see the difference between the two cartoon frames.
Yeah, if anything, this maybe, well, it looks just about the same, actually.
Yeah.
So, because I'm looking at the outer wind radii, which is actually the tropical depression force
and
winds.
we were just inside that an hour ago.
About the same. So, and really, that's what we can expect. Now, we will get higher gusts because that wind is going to team up with the high pressure to the north, and we're going to get into that squeeze play that I keep talking about, what they call a pressure gradient.
Why doesn't it cancel each other?
Because they're traveling in the same direction.
Ah.
You have northeast winds coming off the high pressure to the north. You're going to have southeasterly winds coming off the center of the storm. So they are going to converge. Convergence is another thing I should bring up, though, because as these winds converge, it could be that there will be some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms at some point in time as the storm passes to our south and southwest. We just have to kind of keep a look on that. It's going to be a very localized thing if it does turn out that way.
I'm surprised we're not seeing some of those right now. So I'm going to leave the satellite imagery up here for just a second. I'll go through today's forecast, and then we can look at the radar and their interpretation of what you're seeing on that screen. Partly cloudy and breezy with isolated showers. Northeast winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Highs 88 degrees. Overnight lows cool 76. Watch the waters. High surf advisory on north and east facing reefs, and a high risk of rip currents right now along north and east facing reefs as well. Sunset tonight 6:27. We'll watch the sunrise tomorrow at 6:41. Might be a little bit soggier than today, but we'll still be getting sunrises no matter what happens with the weather. So on the satellite, what do you see?
Checking the satellite here, and we have a really good example of the structural dynamics of a tropical system. Let's get down towards the little ball of hate down there at the center of the circulation. You can see that spinning counterclockwise. It's starting to spin up much faster. Winds about 65 miles per hour. If you look on the outer periphery of the storm circulation, though, you see clouds moving in a clockwise fashion. That's the outflow. And actually, it looks like the wind shear over us has relaxed a little bit, which means the storm may stand a better chance of holding together as it does pass to our west and south. That was something that did not exist a couple of days ago, but things do change. In this case, the storm is going to just keep on progressing towards the west and then west-northwest. Curve down. Looks like it's going to pass to our south and west. The last warning you got from JTWC showed a closest point of approach to Hagatna of 159 miles, which is pretty considerable. So that means we're going to be out of the worst of the weather, but we will see some pretty good winds, probably some rain, and so that's just, that's February on Guam.
Yeah,
oh, wait,
and
that's
just a
July
reminder,
on Guam, but it's February.
But we're talking about the current forecast as of 7 o'clock, 7:17 on Thursday morning. These things change, and it is a fool that says, oh, yeah, the track says it's going south and then stops preparing. You prepare right up until you know this thing is west and north of us.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions on our Facebook group, and they're like, oh, is this the final track, the final track? The final track is not determined until the storm has passed.
Exactly.
That's when you get a final track.
All right, so don't be a fool. All right, you take a look at the radar imagery.
Just
and see if you
isolated
see
showers there, not too much, but it looks like we are starting to get under more of the influential flow of the system. These showers are moving strictly out of the northeast now, so this is going to continue. These will ramp up a bit more slowly over the next 24 to 48 hours as well.
All right, and that's all the time we've got for news and weather here on 93.3 The Point.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
It's 7:18 in the morning, and it gets to be cold and soggy weather, and I start looking around over at King's, and they say, Gib, do you want a burger? Because we know you're crazy about hamburgers. I said, no, because this weather, this is soup weather. I want something that's got some soup and some stewy on it, and in the crazy menu,
They have exactly that. Kare kare. Delicious beef shank stewed in tsoti, onions, garlic, peanut sauce. They've got pechai, eggplant, and string beans, and they serve all of that over the steamed rice. And all of a sudden, you're 4 years old in your grandmother's house again. That's the way it works. Corned beef and cabbage, and beef tinaktak, all available as part of the crazy local menu at King's.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden. So don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
20 after portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. Micronesia, renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And American President Lines, APL. They're shipping the future.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
20 after 7 o'clock in the morning. It is Thursday. The Ray Gibson Show, 888-8255. And a great Thursday, with the exception of the fact that there is a storm, tropical storm right now, tropical storm. Woo tip about 675, maybe by now about 650 miles away from Guam, and moving kind of in our direction. Looks like the forecast track has it moving south. As of right now, that could change. We'll get some more information from the National Weather Service in the next hour as well. Jerry Roberts lined up to do the extra point, but before we do all of that, let's take a look and see where the markets ended up, shall we? S&P 500 at 2,784. That's up by almost 5 points. The NASDAQ up by 2.3 points to close at 74.89. So that's green. That's green. Dow Jones Industrial Average. That woman on the Fox News, she spoiled my alert. There's a spoilage alert here, and she already said that the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 63 points, modest growth, but it is moving in the right direction. 25,954, just a little bit more, and we would have gone over the 2,600 mark, and that would have made me very, very happy. So take a look at what's going on in some of the commodities right now. Every once in a while, I'll talk about gold, and when I do, you know what that means? When I talk about gold, it means I don't have the oil prices ready. So gold prices at $1,342 for an ounce of gold. That's off by about $3. We start looking at what's happening with West Texas crude, $57.16. Yesterday it was $56.45. Do the math here. It continues to be going up. What is that? 70 cents worth of an increase. Tapas yesterday. I never got around to reporting what the Tapas numbers were, and I'm glad that I didn't, because maybe it gave you just a little bit more time to feel kind of groovy about where the price of Tapas crude is. Sorry, I'm going to have to bring you down from out of the clouds right now. Tapas trading at $70.12 for a barrel of that. Now, the last time we looked at Tapas crude, it was trading at about $68.35. So that's a fairly big jump for the price of the raw product that turns into the gas that goes into my car.
And for our cryptocurrency maniacs out there, Bitcoin right now at $3,935.61. That is up just a bit from yesterday.
Okay, and I have no reason to look at that number whatsoever.
I don't either, except we had somebody ask.
Somebody asked?
Yeah, they did. That's why we talked about it last week. They came on our Facebook feed. You just, yeah.
A guy, oh, I thought it was like this morning. I thought a guy asked me this morning.
No, I remembered. It doesn't happen often.
Hey.
It's my new diet.
Renee Logie is online. Hey, Ren. Just we're going to run the Bank of Guam EFIT thing, and for those of you wondering which race to run this weekend, there's lots of them, and my particular poison is probably going to be the St. John's race. Don't have any kids going to school there that I know of, but what?
Yeah, every once in a while, the old disc jockey just flies out, man.
Wow.
But sometimes it gets all over everything.
You just gotta try to pay attention. Just listen quickly. Anyway, but because it's running in EPAL, that's the one I'm going for, and because they're running in EPAL, and that means that I might be sheltered a little bit from some of that northeast wind that's been coming in and just pushing runners back.
Yeah, if you're running a race this weekend, make sure it's one that's going from east to west.
Right, and maybe find me after the race, and maybe we'll do it like we did last weekend, like with beer in the truck. Why not? Renee Lau is out there. Josh Camacho, Laura Castro, Uncle Ted from the Village is listening. There's Pam Duval. Nice to see you there. Melissa Mendiola Proloski. Wow, Melissa and her husband listening at the same time. Keith Parsky's in D.C. Flatulence is the word. See, that's what we were asking, why the guy was wearing the face mask in the game room. Flatulence, that's the polite way of saying it, right? Lillian Cruz is there. Big Sister Shelley, Andy Tidinko, Beck Salazar, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, Zita San Augustin, Michelle Peer, Mingo Ree. And if you haven't gotten a hold of Michelle and asked her to do some kind of artwork for your home or your office, then you might want to do that now. Just right-click on her name or just search for her on Facebook, and she'll be able to do that. And that will keep her busy until I get enough money to pay her for the one that I've commissioned for my place. Anyway, 7:25 in the morning. That's all the numbers that we've got for you. Jerry Roberts is in the studio for another live version of the Extra Point. Have you made it to all of the tropical storm precautions over at the Batman household? At your secret lair?
We're considering those things at the moment, yes.
Not convinced, right? I know how it is. I know how that is. Where you're going, man, I got to go find the clips, and I got to put the things up, and where's the gloves and a little hammer thing that you got to drive them in? And, that's if you got the one kind. If you got the new kind, the accordion shutters, it's a little bit easier. You just go out there and accordion shutter them. And, but there's still people like me that have got kind of the old school method that requires, something to...
I have done those things in the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just kind of...
We will do...
What is the last minute for you going to be? When do you suppose that's going to... You go, well, I guess I better go do it now.
Pretty close to the eye, probably.
It's 7:26, yeah. And just come by the radio station. We've got some shutters up here. 7:26 in the morning. And about time for Jerry Roberts to do the Extra Point. But, every once in a while, you'll riff on maybe finding ways to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And doing different things, and it got to, last night was Wednesday night. I don't train on Wednesday nights, and so there were a couple of things that I saw on my Facebook event feed, and I thought, this is going to be interesting. They're starting a new Toastmasters.
I saw that.
Did you see that? So they've had a couple of exploratory meetings, and last night was the first kind of official outreach meeting.
Did you go?
I went.
Oh, good.
I went and had a terrific time watching some of the things. I'd never been to a Toastmasters meeting before, and so I'd never understood kind of the process and all of the different things that they go through in there, and all of the things like counting the ums and the ahs, and things that you and I know these things for being in radio, which is crutch phrases.
Yep.
And I tease Joanne Brown about hers at the end of the day, which is it doesn't really mean at the end of the day. It means I need 2 seconds to fill between this sentence and the next sentence. So at the end of the day, I will have come off like I've concluded the question for the interviewer and all of that. Right? So counting that and crutch phrases and timing, and it was kind of an interesting get-together. Amanda Shelton was kind of an official speaker at that, and she did an outstanding job.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I did that. And then there was another thing that would be right up our alley, and it is a thing they called Nerd Night at the Hive over by Costules.
I heard you talking about that.
Right. So I went to the thing last night, and there was a lady up there from the University of Guam, PhD, I can't remember her name, and she did 25 minutes on the Duchess of Malfi. Book, play,
okay,
something. I'd never, ever in my life heard a thing about it. Yeah. And she got into it and went deep, deep, deep into the Duchess of Malfi. And I sat there and I thought, here I am, brains the size of the planet, right? And I'm going, I'm lost. I'm just completely lost in this discussion. Then it got to be the Q&A, and people in the back were asking questions, and I couldn't make it through their questions. They were so complicated. I always considered myself, I always thought I had at least a little bit of nerd cred. Not enough, so I hope they do some more of those. Unfortunately, they started a little bit late, and I had to leave early. But kudos to both of the groups, Cyrus Lur and his group of nerds for putting the Nerd Night together, and Natalia Faculo and Vince for putting together their Toastmasters deals. And if you want more information, both of the crews are available to look at on Facebook.
The Toastmasters, did they teach you the secret handshake?
Next meeting. I think I think I have to pay for the. I think I have to pay my dues first.
Yeah, pay the dues.
That's $45, and then there's like a $20 DJ fee.
Would you like me to show you the secret handshake?
Can we do it? Can we do it on Facebook Live?
No, we have to do it like right now. Okay.
It's all right.
Did they stop making you have to go through the plastic surgery thing, though?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was so yeah. And the body cavity searches.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't have to do that here until they're actually chartered. So we got that going for us. You might want to try to get into a couple of these early meetings while you can.
And if you can avoid crutch phrases during a body cavity search, you are the Toastmaster.
At the end of the day,
you win the award.
Jerry Roberts and today's Extra Point brought to you by our friends over at Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
We exist in a free-flowing avalanche of information that comes at us in a never-ending, raging river of details, ideas, and reactions. Let's talk about channeling that river into knowledge and wisdom today on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
I frequently work with managers and am asked to help them develop into their supervisory skills to become more effective in working with the people on their team. So where does that process begin? Number one, with desire. You have to want to improve. Number two, with your personal GPS, that inner positioning device that, if you're honest with yourself, tells you where you are as a manager and how far you still have to go to be where you want to be. This is critical, because if you think you've already arrived and you don't need to learn anymore, I know you're not going to listen to anything I have to offer, and we're starting at a bad place. I add to this something I picked up years ago. Information is relentless. It never stops coming. But information is worthless without context. That is, why it's relevant to us. Why should we care about it? That turns our receptors on and allows them to capture what we need from the mountain of stuff that comes our way daily. Let me toss another ingredient into the mix. My mom used to tell me that knowledge is a wonderful thing, but experience is the true teacher. Knowledge doesn't enrich us. It just sits there until we use it. When we do, we go through an experience and we learn from it. Cooks understand this. You pick up an award-winning recipe and try it out, and the first time it might be good, but not as good as the third or fifth times you use it. Why? Because you alter the instructions. You add more of this and less of that. You might cook for a few more minutes or maybe a few less. You modify the recipe based on your experience. In the world of managing a team, that translates to trying different strategies and tactics, winning some and losing some. You make changes and then more changes, and eventually you hit on a method that works. There's one more key to this. Look back at how we got there. We started with random chunks of information, adding those we felt were the most relevant for us. We then rolled them up into a useful packet of knowledge. That's our strategies and methods, and implemented them to develop experience. What do we have in the end? Results. The end results of what happened when we tested our ideas and we learned valuable lessons from the fruits of our efforts. Those valuable lessons are otherwise known as wisdom. People yearn for wisdom, and they respect those who have it, because it always comes at a cost. The good news is the wisdom doesn't always equate to age. It's about learning, which happens at any age. So wrapping this up, what should be the takeaway? I think that it's turning information into knowledge, knowledge into experience, and experience into wisdom, and it is an easy-to-follow method. Not easy for me to say, but an easy-to-follow method. You don't have to be a genius. I'm going to repeat that, and I want you to remember this. You don't have to be a genius. What it takes is effort, and that means anybody can do it. You can do this. Get after it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
That's right, and all you got to do is try and just keep trying and just go extra. So while I don't know to what level I might have been inspired by Nerd Night last night, I am at least a little bit interested in picking up a copy of The Duchess of Malfi and learning about Jacobean tragedies.
And that's what it is. I mean, something that the little seed got planted there. You're curious. Curiosity leads to gaining some knowledge, and knowledge with a little bit of work ethic attached to it will lead son to wisdom.
To wisdom. Snatch the pebble from my hand, master. 7:34 in the morning, 888-255-888-TALK. Doc, if you're listening, if you could, actually, she strikes me as more the NPR type, but Doc, if you are by some miracle listening to this radio station, if you could give me a link to the book, perhaps a link to the book with pictures, that'd help. I'm that kind of guy. It's 7:34. Time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here is Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Take Care Insurance called a news conference yesterday to declare that the government of Guam cannot afford a bill that would force health insurers bidding for the GovGuam health insurance contract to include Guam Regional Medical City in their network. Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes introduced that measure. Take Care President and Chief Executive Officer Joseph Husline told reporters yesterday that Bill 30-35, as it's written, will only increase the cost of health care on island. GRMC, he said, is at least 3 times more expensive than GMH. Naturally, he said, when the costs go up, your premiums are going to go up as well. In response, GRMC Vice President Eric Plinsky told the Post that Take Care is trying to confuse the public and GovGuam by comparing list prices at both hospitals. He said that's like comparing apples and oranges. He pointed out that GMH does not offer discounts to health insurers, but GRMC does offer substantial discounts to providers who have contractual agreements with GRMC. Plinsky said the only health plan on Guam that has not placed GRMC in network is Take Care, so the only health plan whose rates would increase if GRMC is placed in network will be Take Care's, he said. Following the outcry over the dismissal of charges against a man who shot and killed a neighbor's dog in the head, 2 senators have introduced bills to strengthen local laws against animal cruelty. Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo last week dismissed the charges against Gerald Wayne Cruz. Cruz was arrested last September on allegations that he entered a neighbor's property with a gun and shot and killed a pet dog named Pugua. More pets were later found shot and killed in the same neighborhood. Judge Bordallo, however, concluded that the shooting of Pugua was not cruel because the pet did not suffer. In response, Senators Luis Muñoz and Sabina Perez issued statements yesterday expressing dismay at the ruling. Muñoz introduced a bill that would make killing another person's pet a third-degree felony, regardless of how the perpetrator kills or seriously injures the pet. Perez also introduced a measure that would make it a third-degree felony for anyone to cruelly or maliciously cause the death of an animal. Hunting, game, self-defense, and other legal exemptions, however, would remain in place. A man found with a guidebook on manufacturing methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia has been convicted on drug charges. Joshua Brandon Perez was pulled over in December after he was seen repeatedly swerving on the roadway in his vehicle, that is. However, officers found meth residue in a plastic baggie, pipes, and packaging material, as well as a book called The Secrets of Methamphetamine Manufacture, including recipes for MDA, ecstasy, and other psychedelic amphetamines. At the time of his arrest, Perez was on pretrial release in an attempted burglary case. The jury found Perez guilty of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and commission of a felony while on felony release. Perez sentencing is scheduled for April 26 before Judge Anita Sicola. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
So they actually got him with a book.
Yeah, remember that one?
With a book, yeah. So
I guess he was a beginner, so he needed to study the manufacturing.
Yeah, that's the companion version of Pot for Punks, the abridged version.
Does it have? I'm sure it has pictures, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's going in Sicola's court for the sentencing. They got to keep an eye on that one because she's like 50-50 these days on which drug dealer she's going to be letting out. So I think you got to be careful. This guy's going to come through with some kind of sob story and it's going to get to her. 7:38 in the morning, Or the other side, or she could throw the book at the guy and stick him in a box and throw away the key and then throw away the box. Can we do that? Can I? Let me just underscore this. In other countries, being a meth dealer and you're being found guilty of it is a death sentence. So let's not coddle this guy. 7:38 in the morning, and that's the time from iConnect. Swing by the nearest iConnect, would you, and learn about great plans that they put forth for your 2019 telecom plans. Push to talk, mobile and internet with iConnect.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
Look at the traffic now. What have I got there? Leaning up into Anderson Air Force Base. Might see a little bit of traffic slowing down there. Definitely going to see some leaving the Jigo area as you're making your way towards Dee-Dee-Doo. Sangsong's going to busy up here in just a couple of minutes. Route 3 already busy from about where the schools are all the way to GRMC in the intersection with 1 and 3. We've also got a little bit of southbound congestion at the intersection of 1 and Route 16. A lot of people trying to get to Two Lovers Point. Yeah, probably not. Let me see. A little bit more of that traffic is beginning to hit stop and go as you hit the intersections. The lights on Marine Corps Drive. Once you get past St. John, should be clear to John F. Kennedy in the Kmart area and fairly clear into the downtown Agana area if you're taking Marine Corps Drive. Route 4 looking pretty good. You'll see a little bit of a backup slowing down at the intersections. Route 15 into Route 16. All right, so I got a lot of traffic in both directions around where the Mobile is in the University of Guam area, over by Route 10 and Route 15. That intersection is starting to get busy, and it doesn't get any better. You're going to pass Wendy's, you're going to get to Until Middle School, and you'll see some slowing down there as the kids are crossing the street. And then 8, 10, and 16 is, what can I say? It's 8, 10, and 16 at 7:40. You already know what it's going to be like, and it's already like that. So expect some slowing down as you make your way through there in all directions. 7:40, that's right now traffic here in DePoint.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Uh, 19 minutes away from, where's this going to be? 19 minutes away from 8. Thank you very much. No, I've got too many mind as usual as I'm looking at how we're going to kill and fill the 20 minutes between here and 8.
That was a good movie.
What's that?
That was a good movie.
Which one?
The Last Samurai. That's where you got that.
Too Many Mind,
Too Many
yes.
Mind, yeah.
Yes. I will watch that. I will watch that every time it is on. I think it's
me
a great tale, and it's well told. It has got very, very rich characters in it, and you really, really get a sense of the desperation of the samurais at that transitional period in the history of Japan. You know, in the United States, it was kind of the wild, wild west days, and in Japan, it was the same. If you really want to get into a great samurai movie, from around the same time, again, very rich characters, very rich cinematography, incredible music. I would recommend that you find. It's called When the Last Sword is Drawn.
Wow. Okay.
And it's a very famous movie in Japan. It's got to be about 15 years old, if that. The incredible cinematography in this thing. I mean, every shot is cinematic art on purpose, and there is not one wasted second. You'll need to speak Japanese. Unfortunately, if you want to watch the movie, although the translations are very, very accurate, my mother-in-law and I watched the movie a couple of times, and she was surprised at how well what they were saying on the screen translated to what was coming out on the what do you call it, the closed captioning in English. Again, the movie is called When the Last Sword is Drawn. And as you can imagine, it's samurai stuff. So there's blood and guts and gore and just some incredibly heroic scenes. 888-825-5888-TALK. I got a note. I was talking about this guy on Trevor Way. What was his name? Jonathan Bimbo or something along those lines. And I got a note on Facebook Live from somebody who says, "Oh my, I know this guy." Actually, it was not Facebook Live, but it was on the WhatsApp 988-5874. Says, "Ray, our house is on Trevor Way. Kelly is my next door neighbor. This Dumbo, Jimbo, is the same guy who came through my gate and was yelling at my dogs for barking at him. Of course, I called the cops. He apologized and said my dogs were barking too loud. Since my neighbor got him on surveillance, the cops knew exactly where to find him, and you get more of those kinds of stories. So, as I said, we've got we just got the random nutcases that are out there. And people go, what are we supposed to do about it? And my answer, as simplistic as it might be, and as stand your ground in 2A and castle doctrine as it may be, is gun up. And take a course if you're familiar with guns or very concerned about handling guns and having guns in the house and stuff like that. There's classes that you can take in gun safety, and that's really what the NRA is all about. A quick talk with my buddy Mark on judges. I was talking about this guy who has now been convicted. They caught him with the drugs. They caught him with a book that taught him how to make the best of his potential life as a criminal mastermind. And I'm hoping that they throw the book at him. But based on the judge that he's going to be before, I mean, I think she's got a little bit of a record, at least in my mind. It's hard to tell because there's no place where you can go. I think Kenley and Guerrero riffs on this, where you can keep track of all of the different judges and all of the different people they've let off or thrown the book at. So I'm kind of worried about this guy getting another pass. Mark, you concur?
Hey, Ray.
Hey, buddy.
I'm concerned about a lot of the judges and that there's no accountability on them. I mean, they're essentially like federal judges. They're appointed for life or until they decide to leave. I'd like to see that they do, and probably at least most of the states I lived in, local judges are elected. They have to run on their record or what they're about, and the people get to decide whether they want to keep them or not or put them in the office.
You are along the same lines. I need you to go find today's Guam Daily Post. I don't know how often you agree or disagree with Ken Leon Guerrero, but Ken Leon Guerrero, who we tongue-in-cheek refer to as the other Governor Leon Guerrero, makes a point about how the judicial system seems to be out of touch, out of step with everybody else. I mean, my cousin Mike Berdalio just the other day found a way to enrage the community and align basically every dog lover, every pet lover on Guam against the bar, saying that there was no cruelty in the act against Dog Pugwa up in Jigo. Well, the guy shot a dog with a gun. I'm sorry, the fact that he might have dispatched it quickly has nothing to do with whether or not there was cruel intent. The guy obviously wanted to hurt this dog. And I can't think of another way to, how could it not have hurt, even for an instant?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If he's not sure it was cruel, let me shoot him somewhere around the regions that it's going to feel pain for him, and then he can decide if it was cruel or not. Right?
So it feels like, there's this, all of us over here, and then those guys over there that live in their own kind of judicial, on the bench kind of play. Now we do have something like an election where there's every couple of years we take a couple of these judges and find out if there's people that like them or don't like them. But if there's not a whole lot by way of awareness, and I think it's another kind of beauty pageant thing that we throw in there. Ken LG makes a really, really good point. If I wanted to know everything there was about the voting records of say, well, not Jimmy Moylan because he's new, but the incumbents, Regine Bisco Lee, Therese Terlai, and Tilena Nelson, I can go to the legislature's website and look at all of the bills and see how everybody voted on those. You don't get that. There is no website that you can go to that I'm aware of where you can take a look at the various rulings of these judges to determine whether you like them and whether or not you think there ought to be something done about it.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, Ray. You've been out here longer than I have, and I've been here 21 years. Has there ever been a judge that got the vote no not to retain?
I don't believe so.
So, therefore, are they really accountable? Who are they accountable to?
Awkward silence. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Well,
who are they accountable to? And I think we need to sit there and in where I grew up, the Supreme Court justices were elected on a statewide ballot as well as the local judges. And they had to run, if they'd never been a judge, they had to run with, I will be strong on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they weren't, when they were up for re-election, somebody would come along and say, you know, John said he was going to be strong on drug dealers, and for the last 4 years, he's let every drug dealer off with probation.
That's right. That's something that we got to put in there. And if we're going to continue with the judge retention questions every 10 years, we've got to have a way that a group of concerned citizens might be able to see what happens and how we can stack up the judges based on what we want them to do in the courts. I want judges that are tough on crime, not necessarily judges that will look the other way or listen to a sob story and that. Mark, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. I do want to read off just this last part. And I'm getting a note here. I think this is from Shawnee that says that there is a website where you can go and find the judge's decision. So I'll take a look at that and maybe go through some of them. I'm reaching out and saying that I don't trust Judge Sokola to keep these guys behind bars. I'll go to the website and find out if I'm wrong or not. It's just a sense that I got from reading the headlines. The pet killing decision. This is Ken's letter to the editor. It's not the last paragraph, but it is pretty close to the end. The pet killing decision should serve as a wake-up call for citizens that we need to spend more time looking at the decisions the judges make on our behalf. If the gap between the real world we live in and the fictional legal world judges live in gets wider, and I love this point, it won't be long before criminals will have all the rights and law-abiding citizens will have none. There were some people that were even on our own website, our own Facebook Live the other day, that were talking about, well, you know what? People need to be responsible for their pets. They got to go get them. They got to follow the pet laws and do all of this. We need to have more laws, more surveillance, so we don't have so many stray dogs. And responsible pet owners have to do this, and responsible pet owners have to do that. Responsible pet owners are already doing it. They're already getting the dogs registered. They're already doing the spay and neuter. They're already doing the chips under the skin. They're already doing all of the things and more that they're required to do. It is the irresponsible guys, and like irresponsible gun owners, they don't care about the law. It ain't going to be following them around. 7:51, Brad Rizala is up in the NMI, and I guess at 10 o'clock you guys are going to be doing your heavy briefing. Is that right?
Sorry, Ray, you talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Heavy weather briefing at 10 o'clock in the NMI?
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay. And can you tell me what you were expecting out of that at 10 o'clock this morning? What kind of sacred wisdom and knowledge do you suppose you're going to get?
Only the finest sage advice from the Honorable Chip Guard.
Oh, you got him up there?
Absolutely. Well, we get him on a big phone call where we link in folks from Tinian, Rhoda, Saipan, and then we get the mayor's office for the Northern Islands. Mm-hmm. We all get together on a big call and listen and watch a PowerPoint slide that goes up while he's speaking. All
right. Now, I did ask the question earlier, and I got the answer from a couple of different sources. Is there FEMA in the neighborhood? When I consider the neighborhood, I consider it the Marianas Hood. So somewhere between the southern part of Guam and Mog, do we have FEMA? And the answer is?
Absolutely. There's always folks from FEMA here, but you know the job's still not done here from what's going on. So there's a whole lot of programs that are still underway, and they are here and taking care of us. In fact, they were just touring the new classrooms at the temporary classrooms for the middle school and for the college. I'm actually at the college right now.
Oh, cool.
At NMC, where they're opening up for classes this morning. and spoke to a couple of students as they were walking in. They're excited to be back. They have heard the classrooms are freezing, and I can tell you, the air conditioners are fantastic in these classrooms. I'll send you a couple of pictures.
Yeah. Well, send me pictures, but just make sure that that somebody is around to maintain them over the years, because as you know, being a resident of the Marianas Hood, sometimes what starts as temporary ends up being permanent. So we gotta keep track and make sure that there is some kind of path towards maintenance on all of these kinds of things. And just before I let you go, because we're all in the same boat, kind of waiting on what the new numbers are going to be. Guam is going into condition of readiness 4 at 8 o'clock this morning. Are you guys going to wait out the word from Chip before you guys take the following tact, or do you think it's possible that you're going to be far enough out of the footprint of this that you won't need to?
Well, we're hoping for the best, but there won't be any decisions that get made until after that. They always come out with the decision based on what good Mr. Gard has to say for all of us.
Right on. And now the last thing is, I read a story yesterday, and it alarmed me. Like no other story has alarmed me before, and it is the story about how there is no rice or no cheap rice in Rhoda, and beer is selling at $40 a case.
Oh, yeah.
That was in your Marianas Variety here. What the heck is going on? And where is your governor on this? The $40 a case. I mean, this better be the best darn beer in the whole wide world. Is it $1.50, $1.75 for a canned soda?
Well, what I could say is maybe it kind of averages out, because I think around election time the beer was free. But I'll tell you though, just as someone who goes to the islands, every so often, like to Rhoda and Tinian, we always talk to our friends before we go. I don't think I've ever flown to Rhoda with at least a case of chicken, case of ribs, and a case of beer to hook my friends up while I'm there.
Well, I know a bunch of guys that went up there to do kind of an outdoor fast hiking thing over the weekend, and I'm told that these guys went up there, must have been 24 cases of Bud Light.
Oh, yeah. If you've got a boat, I mean, you're bringing plenty.
Yep. It's like that. 7:55. I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Brad. Best of luck. We'll get caught up on the WhatsApp after the briefing. All right.
All right. Hey, take care, Ray.
I certainly will. 888-825-5888-TALK. Hey, Bob. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? How you feeling?
Your on hold is only putting the caller through to listen to, not your voice. So I think you have a hybrid setup.
I appreciate you saying so. I'll pass that along to the producer.
Okay, number one. Number two, I was going to talk on the judges. I think, if anything, we should possibly shorten the retention vote, but I'm not sure we want to necessarily get as political as having the judges all run. I mean, the attorney general does, and so on. But I think if we would shorten the retention to 4 years, if people do egregious things on the bench, then people have a chance to go recall. But when you're appointing a judge, it's still an elected governor, an elected legislature that has to approve it. So you still got the input from the people without going through a political campaign for the position.
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I was just looking at something that came over from the Joint Information Center. So I need you to repeat what it is that you just said.
Okay, if we would possibly shorten the retention vote down to like 4 years or 5 years, 4 years, because it's got to be on an election cycle, I think we would have a little bit more accountability of the judges. But the appointment of the judge versus running, our legislature does the vetting of the judges selected by the governor, who gets the judges from the Bar Association's recommendations. I think having the professionals do that type of vetting at the Bar Association level, and then the governor and the legislature that are political, I think that's better than just people running out for an election without any vetting of the qualifications fully.
I think I know what you mean, and yeah, there are some guys out here with JDs that I think are clinically insane, and so maybe we don't necessarily want them, with black robes up in the front of the court with a gavel.
And I think we have the people's input through the governor's office and through the legislature for the initial appointment. And if somebody is egregious and you make 4-year retention votes, then if they do something stupid that you don't agree with, then you just get enough people to vote them out.
Yeah. Well, and how many people would we require to vote them out? How would that work? I mean, is that simple, up, down, or?
Right. You have to have a majority of the votes to stay in. If they get 49% yes, and 51% no, they're out. That's the way it is right now. That's not much different than an election.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, there might be a couple of different ways that you want to look at it because of the nature of that. And is it votes cast in the election total or votes cast on just that ballot?
Well, the reason we've never voted a judge out is nobody's ever got interested to do a campaign to take anybody out. If somebody wanted to get a judge out and build a political campaign against them because of rulings they made, I think it could come out that they would be voted out at an election.
We'll see what happens. We'll watch and see. I got a feeling that there might be, depending on when Judge Mikey comes up for his retention vote, there might be a bunch of people at Gain and others in the community that will remember this ruling of his. On the other hand, there's
coming up in the next election. I think he would have a problem.
Yeah, well, obviously, but I think the other part of it is this may not be the end of this. We know that the Attorney General's office is interested in some kind of appeal. Tom Poole, the veterinarian, the territorial veterinarian, was never called as an expert witness in the case. So it's possible, they find a way to bring this back to the court. There, it could be an even bigger trial. So we'll watch and see what happens. Bob, it's always fun talking with you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Groovy, you have a terrific day. It's closing in on, 8 o'clock in the morning. At 8 o'clock, we will be in core number 3. I'll get you more details on that after Fox News and after Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all of the other big stories from the Guam Daily Post. Don't move. We're KUSG, Agana.
You can't come back. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's the message the U.S. is sending to a woman who went from Alabama to ISIS. Fox's Jared Halpern is live in Washington.
President Trump says an Alabama woman who joined ISIS in Syria will not be allowed to re-enter the U.S. He made that declaration in a tweet following a formal statement from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who says Hoda Mutane is not a U.S. citizen and has no visa or other documents to enter the United States. Mutane left her family in Alabama in 2015 at the age of 19 and married an ISIS fighter. She was born in New Jersey. Her attorney argues the Trump administration wrongfully stripped her citizenship. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Police in Chicago say lawyers for actor Jussie Smollett are meeting with investigators, but they're not confirming reports that subpoenas had been issued for his phone and bank records after 2 men initially suspected of attacking him reportedly claimed it was a staged event.
Fox News learned that 2 brothers that CBS reports admitted to helping carry out the alleged hoax were scheduled to have their testimony, quote, locked in before a grand jury yesterday. But in the 11th hour, some type of new information stalled that process. Also, this afternoon, 20th Century Fox is once again denying rumors that Smollett is currently being written off the TV show Empire that Smollett stars in.
Fox's Matt Finn in Chicago. Smollett's attorney has said anyone who claims he had anything to do with the attack is lying. President Trump says it's up to the new Attorney General William Barr if or when a report from the Russia probe special counsel gets released. There are renewed reports Robert Mueller might be finished with his work soon, but no confirmation of that. A winter storm hitting up to 39 states from coast to coast is slamming air travelers too. More than 7,000 flights now delayed or canceled across the country. This is Fox News.
This is Ray Gibson from The Morning Show on 93.3 The Point. And we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary this February. The Point is your news talk headquarters with top news, sports, weather, and traffic. And, of course, always a little extra. We want to thank our listeners, fans, and followers for keeping us on our toes and joining us on this journey. The Ray Gibson Show Anniversary Celebration is brought to you by Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
The long arm of the law and DNA. A apparently helped crack another cold case, the murder of an 11-year-old girl over 45 years ago.
Linda O'Keefe's mother reported her missing in the summer of 1973. Newport Beach Police Chief John Lewis says law enforcement and the public at the time searched for her all night.
It was the next morning. A man found Linda's body. She was lying in a ditch. She'd been strangled.
A family tree DNA website, again, has helped police crack this case, similar to what happened in the Golden State Killer case.
Our investigators used forensic DNA testing and an online genealogy website to identify the suspect's DNA as being consistent with DNA left at the crime scene.
72-year-old James Allen Neal has been arrested in Colorado Springs for Linda's murder. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
It's no secret that baseball teams try to steal each other's signs, the hand gestures made by catchers to tell the pitchers what to throw. But in this high-tech age, Sports Illustrated is reporting there's evidence at least 6 teams installed cameras in center field to zoom in on the visiting catcher's signs.
The cheating team could then signal the batter what pitch he was about to get and increase his odds of getting a hit. Now, since this was an open secret in baseball, teams were going to great lengths to change their signs, use multiple sets of signs, sometimes even within the same at-bat, they were changing the signs. And, of course, this dramatically slowed down the game. So now, on to the rule changes.
Fox's Rick Leventhal says there's a proposal to ban any non-broadcast cameras. The only live feed from the broadcast in the stadium will be to a replay official, with all other stadium monitors on an 8-second delay. Teams would also have to provide a list of all cameras and their purpose. The report says every GM and manager would be told to sign a document that they know the new rules. Third win in a row on Wall Street. The Dow up 63 points as investors chew on the latest earnings reports. Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic dill pickles and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between 2 buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam is now in condition of readiness 3 as Tropical Storm Wu-Tip continues its approach towards the Marianas. The island and the CNMI as well are now both under a tropical storm watch. Acting Governor Josh Tenorio and Joint Region Deputy Commander Brigadier General Gentry Boswell placed the island in condition of readiness 3 effective at 8 a.m. this morning. At Core 3, damaging winds of between 39 and 57 miles per hour are expected within 48 hours. Weather Service Warning Coordination meteorologist Chip Guard says Tropical Storm Wu-Tip may intensify into a typhoon later today. It is expected to pass south of Guam early Sunday morning. Guard says Guam residents will likely see winds pick up on Saturday with stronger winds through Sunday afternoon. He expects we'll be right on the edge of tropical storm force winds in the range of between 35 and 45 miles an hour. Guam DOE Superintendent John Fernandez says DOE is already making preparations to open some shelters. Residents are advised to make preparations for the storm now as well. Ray and Mike will take a closer look at the storm track after this newscast. The Guam Attorney General's office is considering its legal options after learning that President Donald Trump's emergency declaration may divert $750 million in Department of Defense construction funds intended for military buildup projects here on Guam. The AG issued that statement on Twitter after yesterday morning's announcement from Guam Delegate Michael San Nicolas that he has received information indicating that Trump's emergency declaration would negatively impact the Guam military buildup in a substantial way. On Friday, President Trump declared that a national emergency exists on the border with Mexico, and in order to gain access to billions of dollars that Congress refused to give him to build a border wall. On Monday, 16 states joined together to file a lawsuit against the emergency declaration, which allows funds to be diverted from spending programs already approved and allocated by the U.S. Congress. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, who is in Washington this week for meetings with federal officials, also issued a statement yesterday saying her administration is closely monitoring the situation and intends to discuss concerns related to the military buildup with federal officials. We'll have more news after this.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and Urgent Care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. A Port Authority of Guam board member, a community activist, and the Port of Guam's previous general manager are all calling for Rory Respicio to resign from his position as Port GM. That following a report in yesterday's Guam Daily Post that Respicio's discussions about mediating the 17 million Guam YTK dispute were more extensive than previously acknowledged. The board was not officially informed of Respicio's intent to seek mediation with Guam YTK until it was placed on the board agenda February 12th. At that meeting, Respicio told the board members he had only reached out informally to YTK. However, email exchanges obtained by the Guam Daily Post revealed that a mediator had already been chosen, a mediation protocol had been drawn up, and the first mediation session was already scheduled the day before the port met and first learned of the mediation plans. The emails show that Port Legal Counsel Mike Phillips advised against proceeding with any mediation effort prior to the board's review and approval. When contacted for comment, former Port GM Joanne Brown said she thinks Respicio should resign, saying the emails show that the mediation efforts were much further along than Respicio initially acknowledged. Ken Leon Guerrero of Citizens for Public Accountability told a legislative committee yesterday that we have a rogue general manager at the port. He accused Respicio of lying to the board and called for his resignation as well. And outgoing port board member Oscar Calvo also told the Post that Respicio should resign, saying it's all politics and political favors. Following the outcry over the dismissal of charges against a man who shot and killed a neighbor's dog in the head, 2 senators have introduced bills to strengthen local laws against animal cruelty. Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo dismissed the charges against Gerald Wayne Cruz last week. Cruz was arrested last September on allegations that he entered a neighbor's property with a gun and shot and killed a pet dog named Pugua. More pets were later found shot and killed in the same neighborhood. Judge Bordallo concluded that the shooting of Pugua was not cruel because the pet did not suffer. In response, Senators Luis Muña and Sabina Perez issued a statement yesterday expressing dismay with the ruling. Senator Muña introduced a bill that would make killing another person's pet a third-degree felony regardless of how the perpetrator kills or seriously injures the pet. And Senator Perez also introduced a measure that would make it a third-degree felony for anyone to cruelly or maliciously cause the death of an animal. Hunting game, however, self-defense and other legal exemptions would remain in place. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
All right. Well, we've got an update here from the National Weather Service. Tropical storm Wu-Tip moving west. Now a tropical storm watch is in effect for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan in the Mariana Islands, and for Wolai out in Yap State. At this time, as the 7 o'clock look at the satellite imagery and all of the other things that they look at as they put these forecasts together, the storm located 5.9 degrees north, 150.6 degrees east. That's about 655 miles to the southeast of Guam. Max sustained winds around the center about 70 miles an hour. Presently moving west, 280 degrees, a little bit fast, 16 miles an hour. I always like it when they start moving faster like that because it gives them less time to develop between where they are now and where we are.
Yeah, basically the circulation starts to outrun the thunderstorms, but you got to get up around 20 miles per hour is the speed where that really starts to happen. I don't think the storm's going to get that fast, but still, faster speeds means less development.
Storm is forecast to intensify through tonight, likely becoming a typhoon later on. Tropical storm force winds extending outward from the center about 180 miles. So that's the idea, is for us to try to be 180 miles away from the center of the storm when it makes its closest point of approach to Guam. Forecast for today, partly cloudy, breezy, and isolated showers. Expect northeast winds 20 to 25 miles an hour today, with highs around 88 degrees. Overnight lows tonight are probably going to end up to be about 76 degrees. Sunset tonight about 6:27, and sunrise tomorrow morning should be 6:41 for those of you that are watching out for it. Still got some full moon working over most of the islands in the Marianas, so that's been kind of nice to see in the evenings and early mornings. Right now, we'll take a look at the satellite imagery first to give Michael Knight a chance to take a look at it and come up with his interpretation. Last images that we're seeing, and a little bit more of a nod towards tighter circulation down associated with this storm, huh?
Yeah, definitely of an impressive CDO is forming up down there over the center of the storm, and that means it's going to keep on strengthening. It looks like a fairly compact storm. I say that because that CDO is actually pretty compact. All the clouds to the outside, there's just not much there. That's all pretty show clouds. And yeah, this thing's going to keep on tracking up to the west and then west-northwest, and it looks like it'll pass far enough away. The closest point of approach that I saw to Hagatna was 159 miles by JTWC on their advisory, their 7th advisory that they issued last hour. They'll come up with another advisory here in about 2 or 3 hours as well. So right now it looks like we're going to stay in the tropical depression to possible tropical storm strength winds with some higher gusts as they do happen. But I think most of the really nasty stuff will stay far enough to the south to not be too much of a concern.
All right. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on this until the storm is well west and north of the island. 8:16 now with the look at radar, which will give you an idea of what the weather's going to be like for the next hour or so.
Yeah, things have dried out a little bit with the change in the diurnal cycle. We're getting into the daytime now. Sun's starting to dry those clouds out just a little bit. Still, we'll see an isolated shower through and through, and that will also increase slowly and steadily through about Saturday or Sunday.
Gotcha. And that's plenty of news and weather together. But, you know, when you get days like this where we got something that is posing a threat out there, there cannot be too much weather. It's like on the Boss radio station. You cannot play too much Journey or Earth, Wind, and Fire. You can just go from one to the other all morning long and never get a complaint from anybody. 8:16 and time, and that's enough time here for that. And I'll come back and we'll do pretending to talk about sports.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
It's 8:17 in the morning, and I know how it is. It gets to be kind of soggy weather out there and a little bit windy and cool and crisp, and you're going, it's the brown-skinned jeans that I have. Weather like this, I need soup. I need something that's got some soup in it. I need something that's got some brothiness to it. So go to King's and enjoy their crazy menu. Now on the crazy local menu, they've got kare kare, they've got corned beef and cabbage, true comfort food. Corned beef sautéed with onions, garlic, and scallions, and pair that up with some sautéed cabbage leaves, and we have 2 scoops of garlic fried rice that go with that. That's the part that makes it crazy. See, it's the corned beef and the cabbage and garlic fried rice. Boom! Brains exploded. Tongue coated with saliva right now just talking about it at King's.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
I got you. Portions of the program brought to you by Take Care Insurance. They're bringing you the anniversary month here on the Ray Gibson Show. Also, my buddies over at Security Title. When you absolutely need to know that the property you bought, the guy that sold it to you was able to sell it to you. Because sometimes, title gets fuzzy. That's why we need Ron and Kim rolling around here. American President Lines, APL, is shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. And their message is always, there's never been a better time to go solar. And for specialty care, Guam Regional Medical City.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
I love this story. The lunch run cherished by everybody who's able to get out for a few relaxing miles to split up the day. That was the hope for Annenberg Running Group last month until they had to spring into action. Group members Kyle Cassidy, Natalie Herbert, and Samantha Oliver were waiting for one more member to join their midday run when a guy sprinted by, going fast. Caught her eye and said, wow, you've been running by here about 7:15. That's a pretty good pace. And wondering why he was running so fast. And then they realized that the man, Talib Adams, was running fast because he was being chased by a policeman. Half a minute later, another man came huffing and puffing, yelling, help me, help me. The man robbed me. He took my phone and laptop. We all looked at each other and sprinted off after the first guy. Suddenly thrown into the plot of a chase scene, the group tore down the streets of Philadelphia in pursuit. They tracked him until he ducked into a construction site. It was just like in a movie with giant machines and loud sounding ringing and sparks flying everywhere. They didn't go in. Instead, the group split up. Cassidy went around the far side of the construction site to cut off the thief a full city block around. While he cut off the far side, Herbert and Oliver waited a bit before doing some canvassing in the neighborhood. Among the school buildings and rows of houses around the college campus, they found one with a high fence that seemed a prime place for dumping the criminals' loot. Turns out our police procedural watching actually prepared us for this. The duo knocked on the door with the intention of letting the residents know the thief may have dumped loot in their backyard. As they were invited inside, the criminal took off from his hiding place in the bushes out front. Cassidy, who had met back up with Herbert and Oliver, attempted to chase down the subject, but felt a snap in his calf, which turned out to be a torn muscle. He went down, unable to pursue, and was out of the fight. But the chase quickly came to an end after that as the suspect ran right into the path of the University of Pennsylvania police officers who detained him. Cassidy later taken to the scene in a stretcher and treated for his injury at Penn Presbyterian. We heard the first officer yell to the other officers, "It's a running club. This guy tried to run from a running club." Sweet stuff here, right? One of these, maybe that will happen to me one of these days in my training runs. I'll see some ne'er-do-well out there somewhere down in Tumon, somebody grabbing a purse from a tourist, and I will give chase, and he will have to beat me. And my giving chase is that speed I can do about 6.5 minutes for about 30 seconds. So this guy better be way slower than me.
He probably will be if he's stealing. I mean, I don't think it doesn't sound like he has much discipline.
That's just funny to me. The guy trying to outrun an actual running club.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm surprised that most places, or that, why don't police forces, or why haven't police forces over the course of time always just kind of gone after the fastest people? Like, hey, that guy's an athlete. Maybe we, pay him a lot of money to be a policeman.
I'm not going to say anything about the current standards.
Well, I just mean in general. I don't mean like necessarily here. I just mean like in general overall. Why doesn't law enforcement overall, no matter where you are?
I'll get pulled over by a fat guy, and he'll remember what I said. So if you want to,
just
go
run,
ahead. Mr. Blake Watson.
Just run. run. I'll just run. That's all I'll do.
I don't know. There's some guys that do. I mean, there's, you know, I every once in a while will run up, you know, a couple of guys that I know that are first responders and, in fact, police officers. There's, you know, no shortage of these guys that run in actual races from time to time. So that there are guys that do that, but I don't know that there is, you know, cardio is big among everybody in the police department.
Could you imagine if you, like, if you
just kind of, you just waiting, you just keep saying things, waiting for me because you know I'll step in the puddle. You know you're going to say something, and I will reach for it because there is low-hanging comedy gold.
You know, donuts help you run fast.
It depends how hungry you are.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Michael Knight?
No, but can you imagine if, like, you didn't know, like, there was a cop out of nowhere that was like as fast as Usain Bolt, you know, and you tried to snatch a purse, and he just
Yeah, we need more of those guys. I don't know. I'm going to watch Hot Fuzz again a little bit later on.
It's a good movie.
Did I already tell you 18 times that today is Cindy Crawford's 53rd birthday?
No.
I should. And so just before, happy birthday to Cindy Crawford and Cindy Crawford fans from all over the world. She doesn't look like this anymore. She's not too far away from it. I mean, 53 years has been very, very good to her. But I don't want to even put the old one up because this is the version of Cindy Crawford that I think guys in my age group fell in love with all those years ago.
You know, her husband is BFs with the Clunes, with Clooney.
Really?
And they sold their tequila company for $1 billion.
No way.
Yeah, so she's doing all right via her hubby. Plus, she's doing all right with her career and all that. Yeah,
she can dye her in one color now.
Her children are like teenagers or maybe early 20s, and they're all over Instagram and social media and doing stuff.
There's a thing. When I was looking for this, the page that I originally found this picture on is one of those pages where they had pictures of her in this age group and pictures of her daughter. I think her daughter's name is Kaya or something like that.
I think Kaya.
Yeah, and you can't tell the difference.
No, yeah. I've seen that picture, too. Because I think she may be 17, 18, 19, somewhere around there. She's right around the time that we all, right when Cindy was, I guess in the early 90s when she came into the conscious of the world.
Yep.
That's about the age of her daughter is now. And yeah, you're right. They look identical, just like Zoe Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. People did that Rolling Stone, or she recreated the Rolling Stone just like her mom.
8:24 in the morning, just some amazing stuff. Where are we? 888-825-5880-TALK is the phone number here for the radio station. And looking around to see if there's any kind of sports this morning. I do need to see if I can find somebody from the Rotary Club. They've got a 5K that is on for Sunday morning, and I'm wondering, given the kind of weather forecast that we've been talking about for the weekend, I'm wondering if that's going to still be on.
Probably not. Well, I'm gonna say no.
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Yeah, it's that time. It'll be Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, guys at the Rotary Club, if you got something, just let me know.
Yeah, I have. Well, I'm not in my.
Yeah,
window.
Is there sports? Is there Blake sports?
There is. I have sports. Don't forget, just a reminder, if you do like the game of basketball and you got all your Typhoon prep done, it's a big deal. The Vostok 65 Russian Super League 2015-16 champions, they are here on Guam, and they will be taking on the Island Local All-Stars. That game tonight, the tip-off, 6 p.m. at the University of Calvo Fieldhouse, which actually, would that be canceled? Because are we going to go into core...
We're in 3 now.
3 now. I know that, but I mean, are we expected to be in core 2 by then?
My guess is, 48 hours, 24 hours.
Not today.
No, not today.
Not
We're core 3 today.
Not tomorrow.
I can see core 2 tomorrow.
Okay.
Depending on what the forecast
I would expect them just to preliminarily put us in core 2 just for the heck of it, in case there's a last-minute jog.
Look, remember, think of the Typhoon U2. Right, and you remember we were talking about this. We were tagging each other on the phone that very day, and waiting for it. Is it going to turn? Is it going to turn? Is it going to turn? And thank God for Guam, it turned. It turned into a disaster for the Tinian and Tinian and the southern parts of Saipan. But if it had not turned when it did, it would have made a beeline to Guam.
Yeah, that would have been us. Yeah,
so it's and that was within hours of it hitting Saipan.
Right. Yeah. Fortunately, a little different time of the year, so the steering currents are different, and it's a little more solid in terms of the forecasts now, and it's been developing up to this for the past couple of days. The models seem to be pretty well set on a passage to our south and west, and well away from us, actually. So, yeah, I think we're going to be okay, but, yeah, Sunday morning, not going to be good for doing very many outside activities.
Yeah,
from Saturday night on.
Yeah, if you got to turn it off, guys, just send me a thing on the WhatsApp, 988-5874, 988-5874, and I'll pass it along to Blake, and we'll cover it up in our social medias that we've got here at the radio station and the Post newscasts.
So I guess, yeah, with weather permitting, Thursday tonight, that is 6 p.m. At the University of Guam Cabo Fieldhouse. And it may actually skirt on the outside of it, too, because the second one is slated for 4:30 p.m. Sunday evening. So maybe it'll be kind of tamer then. But I know that we're expecting showers into next week, too. So either way, yeah, we'll try to keep you posted on that. And the big upset over in the IIAAG is the FD Father Duenas Friars. They accomplished something nobody has done in a couple seasons, I think. They beat the St. Paul Warriors in the regular season. Yeah. 51-50, no less. At the Phoenix Center yesterday, Tuesday, one of those days. Either way, and then so FD looking pretty strong as they head in the third quarter. Sports head into the playoffs. So should be interesting as those two are bitter rivals. So interesting IIAG local basketball things going on.
All right, lady online on Facebook, not our online on Facebook, but the regular Facebook in general, asking where they get the names for these storms. Woo Tip sounds like some kind of rap group from 1997.
Yeah, these the names for the storms in the Western Pacific are all taken from the member nations, the WMO member nations of the Western Pacific. This particular name comes from Macau, China, and it's a name they use for a butterfly. And so they are not alphabetical because those words are not alphabetical.
Right.
It's just how it is.
Yep.
And so that's just how they do it. And they keep on cycling through the names until the storm is bad enough somewhere that the WMO will retire it at the request of one of the member nations.
Yeah,
So,
I think they've already retired U2. I don't see it anywhere on the schedule. The next one should be Sepat if we're following the guide here from the guys.
yeah, I'll have to look. I'm
looking at it now, and that's a word from Malaysia. The next Micronesian word is going to be mun.
M-U-N?
M-U-N, mun. And the next one after that is going to be from the Philippines, Danyas or Danis. I don't know. I always mispronounce Filipino words because I'm not. And then we've got a Nari from Korea and a word from Thailand called Wipa. So we've got all of these things that are coming up down the road, but that's how they get the names. There's an actual list.
Was it Mangkut?
I remember Mangkut. Yeah,
wasn't that
from
Thai?
Once Upon a Time?
Mangkut, yeah.
Sure.
Mangkut.
Actually, I think
Trying to remember when was the last, who remembers the last time we had one from Guam? Did we ever get a name of Chamorro?
Dolphin?
Pong Sangwa was and Sataan were a couple from Guam.
Where was Paca from?
I don't remember that one. Anyway,
Super
somebody online will remember, because there's guys. I'm not one of them, but there are people that this is their thing in the world, is memorizing storm stuff. They can tell you about all of the names of all of the big name storms in the 1980s, especially that one where we had like 5 in a row.
I was going to say, wasn't there a Pamela? Where did that come from? Because
Pamela, 76.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where did the name come from? Because all the other names seem to be, from Asia. I mean,
I think Pamela is a biblical name. Kevin, what do you think? It's from the Bible, isn't it?
Actually, at that point in time, the U.S., which they still do, that was one of the U.S. names that was contributed, and it was retired as a result of the strength of the storm.
Oh, really? Okay.
Robert O'Malley says, Wu Tip is actually the blind kung fu master from Mad TV back in the days. There it is.
Oh, man. You know what I love about Mad TV is that Lois Griffin is also Miss Swan from Mad TV.
Oh, we'll get through. You'll have to show me some videos and stuff like that. Listen, this turns into one of those mornings. I don't know that there's any other like major sports. Although I will say, I think this came out of the Daily Post here. Yesterday they had a story on the guys that were doing chess, and I think it is today somewhere near the sports section. Yes, it is. Cope North service members compete in the Tinian Hot Pepper Festival. And let me, because you're a pepper guy.
I am.
You are a pepper guy.
Very much.
But I am told that the Tinian peppers they will murder you.
Well, you can get them in that paste in the in the Tinian pepper paste, like the Payless. They come in the big jar. I get the big jar and I slather it all over everything. So I don't know. Maybe I think I can handle a Tinian pepper fest.
I don't know. I don't know.
So.
Brad Rizala was put something on Facebook in the last couple of days, talking about how he got that paste that you're talking about, and now takes it out in microscopic servings, and we'll put that in the soup or whatever, and it's still hot. It still burns.
It's a little warm. I put about a spoonful in a whole thing of spaghetti sauce, mix it around. Jazz up spaghetti a little bit.
Yep, I got you. I don't know about jazzing it up, and that's the one where you just, honey, put the toilet paper in the freezer. I'll need that in the freezer in just a little bit. 8:32 in the morning, and unless you got something else, I think that's all the time we got to pretend to talk about sports.
Yeah,
today.
that's all I got. Recapped everything, and I guess we'll, like you said, we'll try to update everybody on our social media about the any cancellations or anything with the sports over the weekend.
Yeah, any of the 5Ks that are going on there.
And I'm going to guess that the Budweiser Varsity Football League, of which I have been doing the announcing, is also going to be canceled because they start at like 11 a.m. Saturdays. So probably going to be rained out and washed out as Eagles Field to be a muddy mess.
More Cindy Crawford as I make the transition here. Debbie Wise says Paka was named in Hawaii and crossed the date line. A strong storm that held together turned and headed northeast again and pummeled California and the United States. I think I do remember that that track that it made through here and then across the Aleutians into the rest of the continental 48. How about that? Something fun here. Crossbreed Tinny and Peppers with Ghost Peppers. You'll join me as being Keaton. Mark says he'll fart fire and doo-doo fireballs. You people are crazier than I am, and that takes some doing. It's 8:33, and we got headlines coming up next.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not going there, guys. 8:33, and we got Blake walking out going, it's like Ron Burgundy in the movie. If it's in the prompter, if it's on Facebook, there's a very good chance I'll read it live on the actual radio. Hey, we got to do headlines. Kevin's been waiting long enough. He's got real work to do at the Guam Daily Post. We'll get to it after headlines with Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the Guam Attorney General's office considering its legal options after learning that President Donald Trump's emergency declaration may divert $750 million in Department of Defense construction funds intended for military buildup projects here on Guam. The AG issuing that statement on Twitter after yesterday morning's announcement from Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas that he has received information indicating that President Trump's emergency declaration would negatively impact the Guam military buildup in a substantial way. Last Friday, the president declared a national emergency exists on the border with Mexico in order to gain access to billions of dollars that Congress refused to give him to build a border wall. On Monday, 16 states joined together to file a lawsuit against the emergency declaration, which allows funds to be diverted from spending programs already approved and allocated by the U.S. Congress. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, who is in Washington this week for meetings with federal officials, also issued a statement yesterday saying her administration is closely monitoring the situation and intends to discuss concerns related to the military buildup with federal officials this week. A man found with a guidebook on manufacturing methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia has been convicted of drug charges. Joshua Brandon Perez was pulled over in December after he was seen repeatedly swerving on the road. In his vehicle, officers found meth residue in a plastic baggie, pipes, and packaging material, as well as a book called The Secrets of Methamphetamine Manufacture, including recipes for MDA, ecstasy, and other psychedelic amphetamines. At the time of his arrest, Paris was on pretrial release in an attempted murder case, burglary case, that is. The jury found Paris guilty of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and commission of a felony while on felony release. Paris's sentencing is scheduled for April 26 before Judge Anita Sikola. 4 men were arrested on drug charges Monday night after police responded to a report of a suspicious man wearing a gas mask inside a Tamuning game room. 31-year-old Juan Thomas Balanon was wearing the gas mask. The magistrate report does not explain why. Balanon was searched, and the complaint states that he was found in possession of a black pouch containing a glass pipe with methamphetamine residue. The 3 other men were also searched. 32-year-old Alan James Roberto found in possession of a plastic straw containing a white powdery substance. Roberto initially said that was from prescription pills. He later admitted that they were Xanax pills, which he said he got from Balanon. Roberto said he crushed the pills and inhaled the powder through his nose. According to the complaint, Xanax pills were also found on 30-year-old Brandon Rufus Chandler when he was searched, and 30-year-old Daniel Sook de Gracia was also searched as well, and police found a plastic straw, also with a white powdery substance believed to be crushed Xanax. Roberto Chandler and de Gracia, as well as Balanon, were all arrested on drug possession charges. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I'm just saying, there are people that are going, he snorted the Xanax. Is that done? Do people go out there and do that? And the answer is yes, they do that. There is old junky wisdom that says if you want to get something into your system faster, then you'll crush it up like that and then snort it. But it's snorting followed by the words, baby. You know that feeling you get when you've got some wasabi? I mean, some really, really good, fresh, wow, right now wasabi.
In your nose?
That. Yeah, yes, exactly. It's exactly that. I call it a face-gasm, and it always has. And you'll understand why if you've ever had any of that kind of sushi with exactly that kind of, the wasabi that I'm talking about. He might be listening. He might be actually listening online. Jeff Evans and I, we were doing something crazy at Ernie's house once. 84, 85 or something like that. And somebody had dared him to snort wasabi.
Wow.
Right?
That must have hurt. Man.
Hey, listen, and if you know Jeff, I mean, if you knew Jeff, he's a Vietnam veteran era guy, right? Served in the country and wasn't afraid of anything. But I think that certainly taught him some lessons. So, folks, you might want to try that the next time you're at Rotary or Sushi or something like that, and somebody challenges your manhood. Just challenge them back and say, snort this wasabi if you think you're so bad.
Yeah, I think getting shot hurts less.
What's that?
So I think getting shot hurts less.
Let's see, 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. That's iConnect time. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number for us. 888-8888 is the number for iConnect. Call them and ask about great plans for 2019. What do they got? Push to talk, mobile, and internet going.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
Portions of the Ray Gibson. Is this? Am I going to do the Wendy's thing? Okay, so I went to Wendy's after I was just about done with the nerd night that they had over at the Hive. It was groovy because the Hive is over here, and then you got a Wendy's right over there. So I went to the Wendy's, and I remembered because I talk about it on the radio the Made to Crave menu with the barbecue burger on it, and it's got the one with the Sawsum sauce, and of course the peppercorn mushroom. And I got there, and I said I want the peppercorn one because I've had the Sawsum sauce, and I'm okay with barbecue, but I wasn't craving that. I wanted a peppercorn mushroom, and I got there, and a lady says, "Oh, we're just out of the aioli that goes on it. I mean, the car in front of you got the last batch that we could make," and I was devastated. I was destroyed for a moment, and then I remembered, yeah, but I like the Sawsum one sauce too, right? So I got that one, no onions, and give me the extra Sawsum and some extra pickles, and they're groovy with that. And I figured that's still not going to be enough, so I got one of those the Dave's Hot and Juicy. Got the Dave's Juicy with no onions on it as well. And if that's if just me talking about it is making you crave it, then mission accomplished. That's the idea behind the Made to Crave menu at Wendy's.
Are you an optimist or a pessimist? How do you think your coworkers would classify you? How about your boss? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we'll dig into the positives and the negatives of how we're viewed by those we work with.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Traffic in Federal Way is slow in all directions. I'm saying that now as a courtesy to a friend of mine who's actually on Federal Way, stuck in traffic right now in Washington State. And if the traffic gizmos are working off in that direction, chances are pretty good that should begin to clear up sometime in the next 7 or 8 hours. Federal Way has some of the worst traffic in the United States of America. I want to say it's the worst, but I think Honolulu has got the worst traffic in the United States. It starts at like 5:30 in the morning and goes until like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, in the towns where they either did not have the necessary room to plan properly for those types of roads, or they just didn't plan very well anyway. That sort of thing happens.
Yep. So looking at traffic in the usual spots, generally by intersections, you'll see things building up, but I don't see anything this morning that is slowing you down. 8, 10, and 16. Yeah, maybe something from the post office to Happy Mart. Maybe something from the Route 8 side towards the intersection. But like I said, it's mostly confined to the intersections. No major accidents to report this morning. So enjoy the drive while you can. It's 8:42 right now. Traffic here in the Point.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply.
Okay, I just put up a link on the page, on the Facebook chat page, that should take you to a place. There it is in the guamcourts.org, where you should be able to type in the names of your judges that you are interested and the various rulings that they have had on a variety of their cases, and that would be the only way that I'm aware of, that a legal friend of mine is aware of, that you'd be able to find out about judges and how they have ruled in various cases that have come before him. Now, I've already done the search for Gerald Wayne Cruz II, because I wanted to read the court decision that came out of Mike Berdalio's courtroom. The only thing that I know about it are things that I've read in the actual media. But you know, I like to think I'm smarter than the average bear and might be able to find something in his ruling, the text of his ruling, that might help me understand the way he got to, how he got to on the Pugwa dog shooting case. 888-825-5888-TALK. That continues to be one of the lingering issues out here at 8:45, and among the people that I ran into last night at the Nerd Night event was the mom of Pugwa, and she was delighted that I'm helping support, at least by way of awareness, the Justice for Pugwa. They're going to have a get-together, a little protest down in the Agana area on Saturday morning. I will get you details on that. If you'd like to know more, just go to your Facebook and click on events and do the search, which is anymore getting to be a pretty handy way of finding out what's going on in this town. There's some crazy things that have been taken hold. We got some crazy stuff in the nightclubs, but the Toastmasters are back. And there were a couple. I went there last night because I wanted to be a part of the inaugural kind of meeting that they had. And there were a couple of people that said, "Well, God, you're the guy on the radio. What are you doing here?" And I said, "You don't understand it. Being a guy on the radio, just generally in a room, and there's Mike and there's Kevin. It's not like I've got this massive audience in front of me, but there are times where I'm on stage and I'm getting up somewhere, you know, at the Red Ball or Mardi Gras or something like that. And for a second, I've got to gird my loins. I've got to brace, because I'm about to go and perform without a net, and you never know how the audience is going to react to me, how I'll react in that energy. So for me, yeah, there's still those times. But the other part was I wanted those people to know that I was supporting them in their quest to get better at public speaking. Mm-hmm. That's why I went.
Yeah, thanks for blowing my cover. Now I have to return those funds for those pre-sale audience tickets.
Huh?
Yeah, live audience
Oh,
tickets.
I got you.
Pre-sold to my friends.
That's okay. No, we'll still have them. We'll still have them. I just will look in the opposite direction. I will only be able to gaze at the audience via a mirror. Okay? We'll do it like Medusa.
Cool. That's cool.
8:46 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. We are in core number 3, and an opportunity has arisen for us to make contact with Jenna from over at the Office of Homeland Security and Civil Defense. Good morning, Jenna.
Hi, good morning, Ray. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I can't imagine that, how do you plan for the weekends these days? Because, just all of a sudden, you make a plan and it's like, oh, wait, but there's going to be a typhoon in the neighborhood. Crap.
Right. So, we really appreciate everyone taking the time to pay attention to these important announcements that are being made. We appreciate your help in getting the information out. We're still storm tracking here. We do have the Joint Information Center activated as of 8 a.m. this morning. We are now in condition readiness 3, as you announced earlier. We are looking at tropical storm. I'm still trying to figure out how to say it properly, but I'm going to say Wu-tip, tropical storm Wu-tip. We're looking at the closest point of approach to Guam now around midnight Saturday into early Sunday morning. And by that point, it'll be about 160 nautical miles southwest of Guam. So again, this is based off of the current forecast. This can definitely change in the coming days. And we don't want people to just hone in on the closest point of approach because we can expect inclement weather to start as early as late Friday night into early Saturday morning.
We already got 25-mile-an-hour winds knocking on our door right now. So we've got, as the storm gets closer, those winds are going to get higher. And it would be nice if we were outside of a 180-mile radius from the center of the storm. But the latest tracking that I saw put us just inside that. So it's possible that we could still get some damaging winds.
That's correct. So we're expecting those damaging winds of 39 miles per hour or more around 3 a.m. Saturday morning. And right now, fortunately, we don't expect the onset of destructive winds of 58 miles per hour or more. But again, this can change with any northward shift of that track. So we're just continuing to monitor. We did put out a lot of information about preparedness on Guam Homeland Security Facebook page, as well as our partners with Joint Region Marianas. So if you can visit those Facebook pages, if you have internet access, you can also visit ghs.guam.gov. And we have a lot of great preparedness tips on there. We have today and tomorrow to prepare. So we encourage all residents and visitors in the community to start locating and preparing your emergency preparedness kits. At least stocking up on non-perishable food items, water, just some basic provisions so that way you're able to withstand the weekend. If your power goes out and you're not able to travel to get some food, at least you have some of those basic provisions. So it's important to start securing your area now. A lot of times people think, you're securing your area for your property, but, think about your neighbor's car, your neighbor's property. You don't want your trampoline or canopy flying into their yard. So, again, any northward shift of the track of the storm can bring those really destructive winds that can lift those heavier objects.
Yeah, I totally get you. But listen, if you're my neighbor and you got really cool stuff that blows into my yard, it's mine now.
Then let it come. But what about if you have really cool stuff that goes into their yard, too?
I don't actually have any cool stuff, so I'll be all right in that regard. I don't have any cool stuff outside. I keep the cool stuff inside, away from familia sake, if you know what I mean. But there's that. Now, I'd asked a question up in the CNMI because I was curious about, obviously they're very, very tender from Typhoon U2, Super Typhoon U2 that blew through them not that long ago. And so the question up in Saipan is, do we have FEMA people there? And the answer is yes. The question that I have is do we have FEMA people here? Has Acting Governor Tenorio already reached out to opposite numbers in Washington, D.C. to let them know that there is the possibility that we could have some heavy weather around here and to pre-position whatever they can so that if there is, we can get those big Russian planes flying in again?
Well, so there aren't FEMA officials on the ground. I think that's the same for CNMI, and I would have to double-check with them. But, forward-leaning, FEMA have always been really proactive. They do plan on sending their incident management assistance team. So this is a team that comes before the storm. They should be here as early as Friday. Right now, we don't know how large that team is. And again, this is just out of an abundance of caution. They want to come before the storm, before any type of inclement weather arrives. That way, they're pre-staged. They're able to support us if they need to. And it's just something that we've been partnering with them for a long time now. So we appreciate that coming out here. And again, we don't have any FEMA or federal assistance unless a presidential declaration is made. We try to make that point very clear. Although we do have partners, federal partners that are on the ground, we won't be able to access any federal funds unless there was a presidential declaration.
Noted.
But again, this is just forward-leaning. It's them being proactive. And
well, everybody should. Everybody should. We in preparation for this had the generator guy come by yesterday, make sure that our fuel is topped off, our oil is topped off, the automatic transfer switches are working. Those kinds of. And I'm not saying they're going to work perfectly. I just we called the guy to make sure from the manufacturer's perspective.
Call the guy.
Yeah, call the guy. He'll come over and go, yeah, you're okay, and do the same thing for your homes. Make sure if you've got a generator, you know where the gas and the oil and the things are to make sure that runs effectively. Make sure you know where your clips are, things like that. I mean, as you point out, there's great advice that you can find. I'll give you a piece of advice right now. Wash every stitch of clothing that you have in the house that is anywhere near dirty. If we lose water, if we lose power, you will thank me. You'll thank me. You'll drop to your knees and say, "Thank God Ray Gibson reminded me to wash my underwears so I have clean underwear on this side of the storm."
Yes, that's a very good point. One of our preparedness tips that we always talk about, because it's important for us to do the same. We're working. We're going to need those clean clothes ahead of time.
I don't want to listen. The last thing I want to do is spend any time near a laundromat after a storm. That is a complete and total zoo.
Right. You know, really quick, while we're talking about preparedness, we did touch a little bit about indoor preparations, but it's just as important to take outdoor precautions, especially if your home is prone to flooding. We do expect 4 to 6 inches of rain during this passage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have an area that's prone to flooding, you know, you're advised to clear your drainage areas now. At least just check around your area, clear any loose debris. That way you can prevent any buildup around your drainage.
Yeah, that'll help out a lot. There was one other thing I wanted to ask about, and or another point I wanted to drive home. It'll probably come to me after I'm done talking with you on it's theirs. My friend Nick Perlosky with very practical advice: do your laundry, stock up on beer, put some gasoline in the car, because you never know what's going to happen when we get through all this. I remembered what it was. Have you already started with the utilities, having them go out there and make sure that the lines are clear with GPA through as much of their transmission and distribution? The guys over in the Waterworks Authority, likewise out there double checking and triple checking to make sure that their generators and there were some problems last year with some generators that went offline during the height of the storm. Are the utilities starting their hardening process?
Yes, and you know, I appreciate you bringing that up. You know, our unsung heroes, but the GPA crews have been going out as early as yesterday that I'm aware of, clearing lines, clearing vegetation around lines to make sure that, you know, it's clear in the event the heavier winds start to pick up, as well as the utilities, our water authority. All of these utilities, as well as our government of Guam partners, do have plans in place in preparation for any type of storm. So all of those checklists are being done right now, not only with them, but as well as Guam Homeland Security, Civil Defense. So yeah, we're continuing to update our follow through our checklist and make sure that we're ready for the storm.
When do you get your heavy weather briefing from Chip? My understanding is he's going to be online at 10 o'clock with the NMI officials. Are you anticipating a heavy weather briefing from the National Weather Service today?
Yes, of course. So Chip, he should actually be here in a few minutes. We do have a meeting with him this morning. He's also providing a heavy weather brief for the response activity coordinators. Really long title, but those are the representatives that sit in our emergency operations center. So he'll be briefing out all of our government of Guam, federal and military partners this morning.
Okay. Now, how is my buddy Tim Uggan doing? This is his first blow, his first opportunity to be a part of the Department of Homeland Security and Civil Defense land, kind of operation here. Is he doing all right?
He's doing great. You know, he's fitting really well into our operations. Fortunately, he's been here long enough before the storm where he's able to review plans and procedures ahead of time.
Good.
And really get that information from our administrator, Charles Esteves, working with all of the partners. He's met with so many different officials, so in preparation of this type of event. So we're really fortunate to have had him come before the storm and have that time period in between. But he's doing great. You know, we hit the ground running here. As soon as you come into the position here, you really just hit the ground running.
All right, because he doesn't want to be another in what seems to be a growing list of questionable appointees in the new administration. Don't mess it up to me. All right, listen, Jen, I know how crazy things can get up there. I don't want to keep you on the line too long. We'll be looking forward to hearing, I think, in the aftermath of a conversation with the guys over at the National Weather Service. Do you anticipate, just one last thing, do you anticipate us going into Core 2 anytime soon? Or is that one of those we'll wait and see?
Make that kind of announcement, but wait for leadership to make that determination. Governor Tenorio is working closely with Joint Region Marianas, so those decisions will be made. Those key decisions will be made throughout today.
I got you. Liz, I'll talk to you soon, Jen. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Faith.
8:56 and change. And there we go. That's the long and short of it from the guys over at the at Department of Homeland Security and Civil Defense. Brand new guy. Like I said, my buddy Tim Huggan is running the place now. He is the latest appointee from the governor's office into the Department of Homeland Security and Civil Defense. Trust me, it will be magnified. All actions will be magnified simply by virtue of the fact that he's the new guy there. Could have met anybody else, but he is the new guy there. So if something gets screwed up, it's going to land on him, and then it will land on whoever it was that made the appointment. Oh, I remember that lady, the governor lady, Lulian Guerrero. There are other appointments. Who was it yesterday that got in the hot seat over at the legislature? Was it Linda DeNorsi? Somebody else over there today? It's Chelsea. Chelsea Brecht is the one that was among the nominees, and then there were a couple of people that were nominated for positions in the port board. Ken Leon Guerrero was able to get some time on a microphone there. And reiterated statements that he had made on the radio here, and that is the current port GM has got to go. He lied to the port board and said, "Oh no, they're just informal conversations that I had with Champ about the possibility of some kind of mediation." And then the guys over at the Guam Daily Post got copies of actual emails between Rory and people in Champ's office that said that they had moved a little bit further along than just informal. I mean, it kind of made it sound like they were talking to each other after church or something. I said, "Hey, can we do this? I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. Maybe we can mediate and find a way forward here." But it was certainly a little bit further than that when we've already lined up the people that would sit on the panel and when that first mediation was going to start. And Ken LG says Rory lied to the board, and he's got to go. Naturally, and I'm not sure. I don't know everybody's going to Joanne Brown, right? Everybody's talking to Joanne Brown now, and they're kind of putting her in this backseat driver position. Joanne, Rory did this. Looks like Rory stepped into a puddle and should be removed. He should resign, or the port should remove him. What do you think? Well, what do you think Joanne Brown is going to say? Can you just, what's the point of the question? She's been a critic of Roy Respicio since the second she found out that he was going to be the guy that was going to be taking over for her baby, which was the Port Authority of Guam. So I don't know. It's put it into this perspective. What do you think she was going to say? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. This is KUSG Hagutnia. Might not have a whole lot of things to do this weekend, depending on who's going to cancel this or that or the other. But down the road, there is going to be the Mardi Gras thrown by the Guam Women's Club. I get to talk to them next. KUSG Hagutnia.
He's now a suspect. I'm Lisa Lacera. Chicago police saying that about Empire actor Jussie Smollett. He's accused of filing a false police report in connection with his claim of an attack by two men on a Chicago street. The two brothers, questioned by authorities, also said to be cooperating.
We know that's punishable by a maximum of 3 years. This, while we have just learned from people who have been staking out the grand jury room on the 4th floor, that the Osundario brothers have gone back inside for round 2 inside the grand jury room. It seemed to be kind of a false start with the grand jury yesterday. And again, the people who have been staking out the grand jury room says the brothers are inside at this moment as the case moves forward.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Chicago. The nation's top diplomat says an Alabama woman who left the U.S. to join ISIS will not be allowed to return to the U.S.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says Hoda Mutana is not a U.S. citizen and has no legal basis, no valid U.S. passport, no right to a passport, nor any visa to travel to the United States. 24-year-old Mutana was 19 when she left home in Birmingham, Alabama, and secretly boarded a plane to Turkey in 2014 to join ISIS. Her family says she was radicalized over the internet. After escaping ISIS, Mutana was captured by Kurdish fighters. She says she regrets her decision to align with the terror group and now wants to return to the U.S. with her 18-month-old son.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. In a tweet, President Trump says the instructions to not let her in were from him, and Pompeo agreed. House Democrats expected to file a resolution tomorrow that that would block President Trump's emergency declaration to fund the border wall. On Wall Street, stocks closing modestly higher. Gains in tech, materials, and energy companies outweighed losses in healthcare and real estate. The Dow added 63. The Nasdaq edged up 2 points. This is Fox News.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
The governor of New York asking for more money from the feds for the victims of the 9/11 attacks. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Governor Andrew Cuomo, in an open letter to Congress, urged them to raise the contribution to the Victims' Compensation Fund. This after last week's announcement that payouts will be cut back anywhere from 50 to 70% due to quickly diminishing reserves. The governor said the fund's ability to help victims should also be made permanent. According to a previously released schedule, compensation requests will stop being taken in December of next year. Cuomo said he'll work with the New York delegation to get more money. More than 40,000 people have applied for help through the fund, Lisa.
Gernal, in his first showdown with Republicans, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has vetoed a Republican income tax cut bill. The Republican-controlled legislature lacks the votes to overturn the veto. Some British lawmakers divided over Brexit abandoned their party.
3 lawmakers from Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservative Party quitting and joining 8 from the left-wing opposition Labour Party in setting up a new independent group. Both sides accusing their parties of abandoning centrist positions.
We're tired of tribalism and we're tired of British politics being dominated from its extremes.
One of the lawmakers, Anna Soubry, accusing Prime Minister May of handling Brexit disastrously. The split could come to nothing or could lead to a new centrist party being formed. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
A judge who ruled an aspiring actress can use sex trafficking laws to sue Harvey Weinstein seems reluctant to let his decision be appealed before trial. U.S. District Judge Robert Sweet noted at a hearing that other judges have agreed with his reasoning. Weinstein's attorney telling the judge an immediate appeal was appropriate and that nothing of value was exchanged between the actress and Weinstein in 2014 when she alleges he molested her. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
I hear that. 5 after 9. Let's go, Kings. Come on, they got the crazy menu. Madcap Zaney, it's this kind of weather that we've got. It's going to be soggy out there, and if soggy, cold, wet weather, the thing that you need to have in front of you is some kind of soup. Man, and they've got it. Beef Tinactac, the local favorite, ground beef, long beans, onions, and spices, slow stewed in coconut cream, and then they serve that over rice. This is the one that it doesn't matter how bad the world is turning. You go and get yourself some beef Tinactac over at King's and everything will be right. Your problems will be solved. It will give you a whole new outlook on the planet. They've got crazy locals, crazy breakfast, crazy snacks, crazy lunch. I bet they've even got crazy desserts on the crazy menu at King's.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines APL. They're shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar, and the first choice for all of your specialty care needs. That's Guam Regional Medical City.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
888-8255. It's 7 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and a little bit later on, we'll see if we can get rounded up with Speaker Tina Rosemunia Barnes and talk about some of the things that they're working on. There's a big briefing that they had yesterday with the Marine Corps officers here, and I'm trying to figure out how much of that was the same as a briefing that I got with the Marine Corps guys just a couple of weeks ago as well. And maybe all of that has changed in the last 24 hours with the conversation about the national emergency at the southern border and Trump being able to take about $750 million of Guam buildup dollars and apply those to the construction of the wall down at the thing. It's a build wall down, let's build one here too. 8 after 9 o'clock in the morning. At any rate, I got, as usual, a couple of lovely ladies in the studio who are here to talk about the Guam Women's Club Mardi Gras. Now, there is a number of events that may be off the table for the weekend because of the possibility that there's going to be inclement weather, which means that you will have additional time to be able to concentrate on what it is that you're going to be wearing to the Mardi Gras when it's coming up. And in the studio with me, I've got Joyce Salas, and Vanessa Kinata. And again, welcome to the central part of the island. Nice to have you here. Do me a favor. I need you to get right up to that microphone. Same thing with you. There's cameras on you, so just feel pretty. There you go. That's nice. And say hello to everybody. Joyce, nice to see you again.
Yes, it's good to see you too.
We used to ride the same elevators over at the Bank of Guam, and I think the last time that we got together, there was this mad party at the old Harley Davidson headquarters. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
It was for, what were they doing? It was the Women in Construction deal, right?
Yes, yes.
That was, you know what? I finally got around to using that. I bought one of these. It was like a raffle thing. No, it was an auction, and one of the things that was getting auctioned off was one of these folding chairs. I remember a really, really good one, right, with pockets and someplace to plug your iPhone in and stuff like that. So I was able to finally got around to using that.
Only now?
Only now. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Are you going to be doing another one of those soon?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I believe we're planning it in April.
Do you know where?
At 3 Squares.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So we can go. Okay, there's. You know what I like about that place? Okay, pretty much everything. I like the fried chicken that they've got over at 3 Squares, but I also like the idea that they sell Asahi beer at lunch. You know what's a thing? I got a thing. But anyway, so and Vanessa's here now. I know her from the bank. Where do I know you from?
Probably the same place.
Oh, you work at the bank? You're a Bang of Guam?
Yes, sir.
Really? How did I get so lucky? I got 2 Bang of Guam girls in the building at the same time, but associated with the Guam Women's Club for the purposes of this conversation, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now you got to do a little. You're shy, aren't you? She's just a shy, retiring flower. So that means I'm going to spend a lot of time talking to you. How did you get involved with the Guam Women's Club, Vanessa?
I was actually approached by our current president, Caroline Sablan.
So drafted is the word, yes, because nobody says no to Caroline.
That is true.
Yes, it is. I know that. So she came to you and said, I'm in this great group. Why don't you join me?
Exactly, yes.
And so how long was that? When did you do that?
I have been a member for almost 3 years now.
Okay, all right. So this is not your first Mardi Gras.
No, I've assisted and attended the last 2 years. So.
And now
first time though with the planning.
Oh, really? Yeah. So here's what you have to know. There are other women in the Guam Women's Club that you don't say no to either, and they'll want to do something just because it's tradition, it's legion and legend, and you have to do it because the Guam Women's Club is it's like the military. There are generals and there's an upper echelon, and even though they might not be actively involved in what's going on in the planning, they will make their intentions and their wishes very, very clear. And I know this because they they do it to me too. That night they'll say, "Oh, we need to do this." I said, "Well, it's not in the agenda." I said, "Well, it is now." Okay, well, all right. I guess we're doing that then. So, isn't that fun? Now, Joyce, you've been with them for a couple of years too, right?
Yes.
All right, same deal. Caroline came up to you.
Yep.
Said you're going to join my club.
Yes.
It's a statement.
Very
in the form
thankful.
Statement in the form
We are
of
fortunate.
of a question. So how did you get involved in the planning?
Caroline and I sit together, and one day we were talking about it, and I just felt bad that we couldn't find anyone.
Oh my God!
And
the
so I
gossip
told
must
her,
be
I
great.
said, "All right, if we don't find anyone to
Mhm.
chair the event, I will do my best
Mhm.
and do it."
Okay, so you're the
But
actual chair.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
sweet.
But I was really hoping that somebody would step up and say, "I'll chair it. I'll chair it."
No.
Yeah.
No, they stopped looking after you said, if we can't find anybody, I'll do it. That's the way it works in practically every organization. Or you always give the jobs to the busy people. Is usually one of the smartest things that you can do as a manager or somebody that's trying to motivate people in the club. So the Mardi Gras is coming up when and where?
It's next week, Saturday, March 2nd, at the Hyatt Regency Ballroom.
As usual.
And, yep, it's from 6 to 11. And tickets are $75. It's a no-host bar, but feel free to come over and you guys can buy us our drinks.
It's never stopped anybody from not drinking at Mardi Gras. The idea is to have a really, really good time, party responsibly. We're not going to get all the hotel rooms, so leave some for some of the guests that might want to stay over at the Hyatt.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we'll be very nice and give you guys lots of beads.
Oh, very, very nice. Yes, it's just like Mardi
And
Gras.
noisemakers,
It's just like Mardi Gras in New Orleans or other places where they celebrate, and so there's beads and there's jazz music, New Orleans style jazz music, and there's food. It's a king cake, right? They call it a king cake. I call it the Jesus cake because baked into each one of these little king cakes is a small little baby Jesus that we ask you politely not to eat, and that will if a woman finds the little baby Jesus in the cake, that means that she's going to get married soon, or she's going to get divorced soon, or something like the bank's going to approve your loan or something, something along those lines. I forget what it is on a consistent basis, but that's the way that one works there. Mark Cruz saying we've got tickets for the Mardi Gras. He's got his tickets all ready to go. So Mark Cruz is going to be there. I've had the good fortune of being the master of ceremonies for several years in the deal. One of my favorite things is, and it's usually among the first things that we do, is the crowning of King Rex.
Yes.
And there's like all of the great secrets, this one here is a great secret. I don't know who the King Rex is going to be.
We don't know either. Yeah.
Oh, really? They didn't tell you yet?
No. We asked, and they said no.
So it's a separate committee, and they meet in secret in one of these rooms like you see in the movies where no sound can get in or get out, and they'll get together and take a look at some of the movers and the shakers in the community. And I don't mean guys that are in the front page of the newspaper all the time, as much as it is individuals that have shown that they're number one behind the women in this community, and number two can be considered like pillars of the community, people that kind of go out of their way to be strong contributors, either individually or via their business. So we'll find out who that next guy is going to be, and then the way it works is we will remove the crown from the one guy and put it on the other guy, and then the other guy has to sit at the throne at the center of the room for the remainder of the evening, and everybody brings them shots.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then they yell dilly dilly for some reason.
All night long. So you get that kind of crazy party going on. There's dancing and there's music and there's really, really good Hyatt food that's going to be there as well.
Yes.
So how do I get tickets?
You can go online to our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram,
Nice.
and then send us a message there. Or you can also go to our website at the Guam Women's Club at gmail.com. And then we'll get back to you as far as that tickets. Or you can also contact myself, Joyce Salas. You can call my cell phone 671-686-3328.
Did you have to put 671 in front of that? You slowed me down a second.
Sorry.
Six what?
686-3328.
3328. So there's a theme every year for Mardi Gras. And so this year's theme is, we did one where you have to talk like a pirate all night. Was Pirate Mardi Gras, because they had all those Pirates of the Caribbean movies that were floating around a few years ago. And so I'm kind of curious about this because you've asked me to dress for it.
Well, our theme this year is Carnival Parade.
Carnival parade. Like the Carnival Cruise Lines? No? Different.
No, different.
A little different.
Oh, clowns. Clown carnival things.
No, I'm absolutely afraid of clowns.
Okay, I'm not afraid of them. I'm petrified that you'll ask me to get dressed up like one, but go ahead.
Please no, because then I'll run away.
All right, so Carnival, Mardi Gras.
Yes.
Okay.
We're sticking to the theme, the three main colors, right? Green, gold, and purple. But we're also incorporating the blues, the reds, the pinks, silvers, blacks. So I was thinking, instead of our usual suits or island formal, let's get creative. Let's put some
colorful.
beads. Yes, and colorful. Let's do maybe streaks on the hair, beads on the face. Jewelry on the face.
See your face, Rick.
Wear suspenders with some velvet. Ring a bell? Yeah, maybe some velvet clothing.
I'm thinking of the movie Godspell in the 1970s. I don't know why that's in my head. I don't know that's appropriate. But basically, it's get colorful, get dressy, get fun is the idea. At the end, we want you to have fun, and we want it to be a little bit of a spectacle. There's and it's nice that I've got a couple of younger members of the group in front of me, because the idea is in 2019 we're not necessarily looking to go to different places. We're looking to have different experiences. And it's different experiences that we can catalog with the selfie part of our phones. I got this brand new Pixel phone from GTA, and so I'm going to make sure that I get selfies all night long with the variety of the women. Now, I do want you to dress up, but I don't want you to go so crazy on that I can't recognize you. Right. So I want to be able to know who I'm taking selfies of, because I don't want,
Oh, you'll see my dimple.
Yes. So don't cover that up. Don't cover that up.
I
So
promise.
will there be anything else that's going to be going on that night?
Well, of course, our festivities always include our parade after the crowning of King Rex. We will have a costume contest.
Scares the hell out of the tourists, that parade, because it's just noisy and there's people running around with beads.
I think some of them enjoy it.
Yeah, we've had a couple of tourists actually join the parade and come back into the room. So what'll happen is when we crown the king, then we have the parade through. I want to do it through Tumon, but they always say no, it'll take too long.
Through the lobby.
So they take it through the lobby of the Hyatt, and you've got to imagine what kind of a spectacle that is for among the tourists that are hanging out there. And we have had in the case where they have so much fun with the parade, they actually come into the room. And some will pick up a ticket and actually stay with us. And maybe there'll be a little bit of that going on. So after the parade, we got dinner.
Of course. And then we also have, for a couple hours, we'll have a face painter on site. Caricature will be available as well. The jazz band, of course, will be playing. We also have a photo booth that will be available.
Right.
Yeah. And then we'll have a bunch of door prizes, raffle, and silent auction.
So my understanding is with the photo booth, what they've got here is a cutout of Mark Sablon's face, and so you can go to the photo booth. You take a picture with your face and crazy hat or something like that, and then you can cover your face with Mark Sablon's and have a picture just like that. Mark Sablon is the current King Rex of the Guam Women's Club, so he's ripe for having fun with on his very last night to preside.
Yes.
Exactly.
Drinks are going to be on him.
Yes. Yes, and free gas.
Yes.
From 76 Circle K. It'll be great. But they always, whether he's the King Rex or not, you always know that, you've got Mark's attention, and there's always support from 76 Circle K, as well as a whole bunch of other companies that go out of their way to help out the Guam Women's Club. And now this is a fundraiser.
Yes, it is.
Where's the money going?
Okay, so all the proceeds will benefit our scholarship fund. Since we were established in 1952, the Women's Club has always contributed toward education.
Yeah.
I believe our first tuition assistance was $150, and it was to a student getting their teaching degree. And this was at the Territorial College. Now we select 2 individuals from the University of Guam, and we pay their tuition for their undergrad, or to get their undergraduate degree for all 4 years.
Nice.
Yes. As well as we give $1,000 scholarships to GCC students.
And help out with them and their educational expenses.
For UOG, we pay everything.
Yeah.
Tuition, all the fees, so lab fees, room and board if necessary, books or so.
Have you already determined who is going to get those scholarships this year?
Well, actually, we still have one current, and then we do have an opening for 1, possibly 2 more students. So applications have been sent to all the high schools. It's also in the financial aid offices of GCC
And the university.
and
All right.
UOG. So they can go there. They can also contact Nancy Weir, who is actually in charge of that, and her number is 565-9616 for more details.
I'm about to make a smart aleck comment, but I'm not going to, because I don't want people calling her in the middle of the night and saying, hey, the lady on the radio said to call you and ask about free tuition at the University of Guam. Not like that. We use an 8 to 5 family over there at the Weir household, so keep track of all of that. Listen, I'm looking forward to it. I'll see what kind of dressiness I can get. You know, lately I've been wearing a lot of different colors. I mean, you caught me on my jeans and gray skinny top day, but normally I like to wear. I've got some clothes that I bought at the Korean grandpa section over at Tommy Hilfiger. You know the one I'm talking about, where there's like bright pinks and reds and oranges and stuff.
That's why we're laughing.
Yeah, I love those colors. I love those guys. And I also like the idea that those guys have got a separate checkout for locals. Did you know that?
I did not know
You
that.
did not know that. Yeah. So if you go to Tommy at GPO, right? You go inside and there's this whole line. Like there are more teller positions there than are at your bank. And so, but the one in the corner, in the far corner, is the local section. So if it's too busy with all of the tourists down the side, they got a couple of checkouts for locals.
I wonder if they do local discounts too.
You know what? Sometimes when you walk in, they give you a little card, and the card will be good for some serious discounts. They don't give that to just everybody. In fact, they gave me a stack and said, "Here, hand these out to your friends because they're super, super valuable." Sorry, it sounds like a commercial for Tommy. It's not meant to be, but it might be one of the places where you might start to consider putting together your ensemble for the evening. All right?
Yes.
All right. So for more information, get a hold of Joyce. The number is 686-3728.
3328.
3328. Okay, that's just the way I write. 3328. Or find Vanessa over at the Bank of Guam. Ask them about all of this, or any of the members of the Guam Women's Club, because everybody has all of the information that they need, and more than likely can actually sell you the ticket kind of on the spot, right?
Yes.
All right, looking forward to it. So Saturday night, Hyatt, and we'll
March
start blessing the
2nd.
table at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock. Actually, I know the way it works is we're all going to show up in the front, and we're just going to get just loaded in the front, and then about 7 o'clock or so, we'll open the doors, and everybody can come in. Yes. And there will already be people inside, because there are some people that are they're so old they can't stand standing up outside drinking, so they'll be inside, and we'll make them watch your purse. It's 9:24 in the morning. Ladies, thanks so much for coming by. We're going to do some selfies real quick and take a very, very quick break. Not a problem. The answer is always, because Caroline asked, so the answer is yes. It's 9:24 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Run by the nearest iConnect and learn about 2019 plans on push to talk and mobile and internet.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
It's 925 888-255 888-TALK. And do I have the number for Wendy's? I don't need the number for Wendy's, because I've got all of this stuff memorized in my head. I know exactly how to order when I get there, and it's not very difficult. You pull up to the drive-thru and you take a. They've got it right there at the front at the drive-thru. They've got the made to crave menu. There are 3 items on it. Among them are the peppercorn mushroom melt. That includes savory mushrooms, and they also have the barbecue cheeseburger with sweet and smoky barbecue sauce that goes in there, and the Sawsome bacon cheeseburger, and that's got bacon. I mentioned this morning. People that I don't believe you. I should have took a picture of it last night, except it's got Sawsome sauce drippings all over it. There's so much bacon in it. it was actually falling out of the hamburgers. I'm eating. It's like eating a taco where you got the strands of the cheese and the tomatoes and the stuff. It just falls on the plate. It was the same thing with my bacon burger from Wendy's last night. The bacon was falling out of the thing. God, that's good. 926. Try it. It's on the made to crave menu at Wendy's.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
927, and let's go over this a couple of times between now and the end of the program, at least once between now and the end of the program. Guam is in condition of readiness number 3 here. This is the big story. I don't get, it doesn't matter to me what's on the front page of the news, but the big story here is that there is a tropical storm that's going to be in our area in 48 hours or so, and that's why we are in condition of readiness number 3 as of 8 o'clock this morning, and as of 7 o'clock this morning, they fixed the storm at 5.9 degrees north, 150.6 degrees east. That's 655 miles or so southeast of Guam. The storm is moving westerly at 16 miles an hour, and max sustained winds associated with that storm are about 70 miles an hour. Now, the forecast for this thing is for it to continue to move west about 16 miles an hour, expected to make a gradual turn towards the northwest with a slight decrease in forward speed over the next 24 hours. And according to the last look at maps that we have from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, this is what it looks like now, and it puts Guam just inside the radius for tropical storm strength winds. So if it stays on that track, we're going to get winds. We're going to get some rain associated with the storm. But the deal is, this isn't the last image that's going to be coming out of the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. And without getting too preachy, because most of you are old Pacific hands like me and have been through this a dozen times, you know better than to take your eye off this. There are going to be some people in the community that will go with the last thing they heard and not bother to make preparations. But my rule is, until the storm is well west and well north of Guam and the Mariana Islands, I will keep my eye on it. And right now it is 655 miles south and east of Guam. Therefore, I'm going to be watching this thing like a hawk. And if I don't watch it, then I've got Michael Knight in the studio, and he will keep an eye on it as well. So that's the story right now. That's where we are with the tropical storm Wu Tip. And when I got here this morning, there were no watches or warnings for Guam or the Mariana Islands. Again, at 8 o'clock this morning, they changed that. We are now in a tropical storm watch in effect for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan, and in the Mariana Islands, and for Wolai State in Yap, for Wolai and Yap State as it makes its way through that part of the region. So tropical storm watch is now in effect for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. Our weather conditions for today are good and support preparation. So prepare. Take advantage of that. I know, it's God, what a massive pain in the rump it is. When you take the preparation, you put up the shutters, and you go to the store and you buy kerosene, and you get one of those little stoves that you can cook with the little Korean bottles of propane. Put water aside, gas up the car, wash. You got to do all these preparatory things, and it's a pain in the rump to do them anyway. And it's even worse when nothing happens, when the storm goes by and it's not strong enough to pull the hat off your head. But here's the thing. It would not have taken that much for Guam to have gotten smacked by U2 a few months back. The storm, you'll remember, was tracking right for us. It was coming right for us. And it was strong enough that it got me pretty concerned about my level of preparation, home, work, etc. And it took a last-minute turn, jogged north, and smacked Tinian, right? I-pass and everything. And I don't know who got it worse, was the folks up in Tinian with the I-pass or the people in southern Saipan that had I-wall for the entire time that it was there. But it was bad. And my guess is the people that prepared up in Saipan for all of the problems that took the time to prep for big wind, 150-mile-an-hour plus wind, my guess is they were happy for the level of preparation that they did. So it's the same thing. I'm not predicting 150 mile an hour here. I'm just saying we've got a brood in the neighborhood, and we've got to make prep for it. We've got to plan up. 9:31. So you do that. Like I said, I don't want to be preachy about it. I hate it when guys on the radio do that, so I'm not going to do it either. So the forecast for today, partly cloudy, breezy, isolated light showers, northeast winds to about 25 miles an hour, highs about 88 degrees. We've got overnight lows of about 76 degrees. Probably going to be the forecast for tomorrow as well, despite the fact that we've got this storm, right?
Yeah, more than likely that'll be the forecast. Things will probably start to go downhill starting tomorrow afternoon and evening, more so than what we've seen. Again, though, not really sure what that means. I know the winds will pick up. Not really sure how much rain we'll get from this thing if it does stay that far to the south.
I don't know either, because it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of rain activity in our neck of the Pacific woods these days.
No, we're still under a very dry air mass that is continuous because we're in the middle of winter. It's a northeast monsoon. It is what it is. And so that's going to keep pumping that dry air in. We're going to get caught in the squeeze play, as I've talked about before, with the pressure gradient. That's because there is lower pressure to the south and higher pressure to the north, and we just happen to be right in between them, especially with this storm sliding on by to the south. So that is going to give us a definite increase in the winds. And the thing about it is, with a lot of tropical systems, you'll get maybe a couple of moments of calm, and then you'll get a wave of rain that'll come through, and that's where your gusty winds will come from. What will make this storm experience a little different is the fact that the winds will be pretty much continuous, just like they are right now. But then they'll kick up even more and get gusty in those showers and thunderstorms, and then the rain will pass and the wind will continue. It's going to be a little different than what we're used to with tropical systems. But ultimately, wind and rain for the weekend.
Definitely. So probably a no on grill marks. Good thing I got plenty last week. Very close, very dear personal friend of mine, my running buddy, and one of the geniuses behind Run Guam, Sherwin Payette, celebrating a birthday today. So is Lynn Raff, Pseudo Say So. She is so awesome. And I'm wondering, given the weather conditions, I wonder if Miss Sudo is going to be partying tonight, or is she going to wait until the weekend, or maybe it's going to be sometime this week. C.A. Cruz Alvarez has got a birthday, Joanna Bill Cruz, Tommy Haman, George Braswell. The older one, not the young one, George X. Braswell, celebrating a birthday today. Well, I don't know how much he celebrates. He's going to go out there somewhere and buy himself a Make America Great hat and then burn it. But happy birthday to you, old buddy of mine, George X. Braswell, one of the guys responsible for just about every major concert that we've had here on Guam, and great parties at places like Pescador, Jungle. You know the name. Maybe you've never seen the guy, but today he's celebrating 69 years on the planet. Not bad. Not bad. I bet you if I could have remembered better, it's possible that I might have asked him back in the 80s and 90s, hey, do you think you'll make 69 years? Because my guess is he's probably really surprised he did. How about that, George X? 935-888-8255-888-TALK. Over at the legislature, if not now, they might already actually be in it. They're going over the executive appointment of Ms. Daphne Shimizu to serve as the director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation, Ms. Dana Gutierrez to serve as a member of the Guam Solid Waste Authority Board, and all of that going to be taking place this morning over at the legislature. I want Daphne to get that job. Just from what I've seen already. Now she's number one. This is the lady that heretofore has done my taxes, and she's always done a good job of it. I say good job because she keeps me honest. I'll always look and say, can I take this deduction? Can I take that deduction? And you've heard her on the radio do one of these, Raymond, like, no. And I'll be like, why not? She says, because it's illegal. And I'll go, okay, just asking. It's all right. I can just ask. I mean, I just need somebody to say no. Yeah, but it's against the law, and we'll both go to jail. And then I'll say something snarky like, you know, they don't actually check for like 7 or 8 years over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. They're going to wait until the next time there's, you know, some kind of money trouble, and then they'll do an amnesty. And I'll pay them then. Can I do that? And then I get the Raymond. So I don't know. I think she's the right person for the job. Kenny Williams is agreeing with me. Mark Cruz says, I want Daphne to get that job too. Can I give you another couple of reasons why I want Daphne to get that job? Because she has done something that nobody else that I'm aware of has done before. They've got a stack of paperwork that they have sent over to the department, to the Attorney General's office.
You mean she's done her job?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a press release that came out a couple of days ago, but I didn't get it. As part of our efforts to collect on outstanding taxes, the Department of Revenue and Taxation will be forwarding cases to the Office of the Attorney General for disposition. We are grateful to Attorney General Camacho and his team for their commitment to assist our agency with collections. However, this may mean that businesses will be shut down. She's going to be going after businesses that aren't paying their taxes, and it is possible that they could put up a big sign on the door that says, until these taxes get paid, these people are no longer allowed to do business. We are suspending their business license. Holy smokes, you got to be kidding. They're actually going off in that direction on this. In regards to taxpayers who have come in to voluntarily comply, Shimizu advised over the last month, Deputy Director Santos and I have met with many taxpayers. We thank the taxpayers who have come forward voluntarily and encourage those taxpayers who have outstanding balances with DRT to come forward as well. Our agency's role is to collect and enforce, and we want the community to know that we want to work with all taxpayers to help them get into compliance. Imagine that. I wonder how many people we're talking about. I wonder how many names are on that list. And I don't know. I couldn't tell you. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. What do you think, Ken? Ken F. Call back. It's all right. I'll tell you what. I'll give you another reason why I suppose that we ought to take them seriously. You got this. And to the degree that I mentioned this a couple of times, is yesterday was the first deadline for real property taxes. And I don't want to be, because this lady knows the phone number to the Attorney General's office. Why it hasn't been done before, I don't know. But this lady knows the phone number to the Attorney General's office, and as a result of that, I got the notice about the real property taxes, and I made the trek online to the Guam Pay Tax whatever website they've got, and paid my real property taxes for the year. I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want to have to worry that Daphne is going to look over the file and says, oh my God, Raymond, you're supposed to pay your real property taxes. Daph, paid. Right there. I got the receipt. I even printed it on the color printer. Paid. Thank God. Because, like I said, the lady knows the number to the Attorney General's office. And I'll give you another example of her, I think, doing it right. To address the increase in demand of the Real ID, the Department of Revenue and Taxation is extending the driver's license branch in Barragata during the month of March. The hours will all be Saturday hours, March 2, March 9, March 16, March 23, March 30th, from 8 until noon. You'll be able to go in there during the week and get your Real ID. And if you're like me, got stuff to do during the week, you might be able to set up an appointment on the weekend. So they're advising to reduce wait times for driver's license or Guam ID services. Schedule your driver's license or Guam ID appointments at the website guamtax.com. I've done that. I've scheduled online, and they're true to their promise. Interview, picture, out. 20 minutes when they first started doing this. So it might be worth your while to go there and do that if you need one of them. I got a passport. I don't spend a lot of time trying to get into military facilities, so I don't think I'm going to need one until I don't know, until I need one. 9:40 in the morning. Hey, Ken.
Yeah, I called in earlier when you were talking about the list, but we got disconnected, I think.
Yikes.
If they just connect with one name on that list, they close the donut hole for Guam Memorial Hospitals. I'm hoping we see that happen.
I wonder who.
Retailing, maybe, possibly. I mean, it's a significant chunk of change, and with penalties and interest, that alone should be enough to close the donut hole and allow the administration to keep their promise to give Guam Memorial Hospital $30 million.
Mm-hmm. So
Maybe that's happening.
I don't know. Because all of this gets shrouded in confidentiality. We're not allowed to see past the curtain on this. We just know it's going to be happening. Personally, I'm thinking just send out the names. So here's a stack. These are the folders that are going out. Send out the names of the businesses that aren't paying their taxes. Send out the names of the individuals that aren't paying their taxes, and get it done. And people will go, wait, holy smokes, wait a second. What do you mean it's going to the Attorney General's office now? I thought we just had to deal with the collector guys at Rev and Tax. Now we're dealing with actual lawyers at the actual Attorney General's office. These people must be serious.
Well, why should that list be any different than the list of property owners?
Because it's the list now that will go to the Attorney General's office. There are people, obviously, that don't care that their name has been printed in the newspapers more than 2 or 3 times. And they're the ones, and if they are concerned, they know that that's the preamble to the amnesty. In this case, there is no preamble to the amnesty. There is no list in the newspaper. It's going to the Attorney General's office, and eventually somebody's going to knock on a door and get and serve you.
Well, maybe if they publish the list, that would generate more.
But they did already, is my point. And
no,
Ken,
not on the income taxes. On the income taxes.
I don't know if they can do.
Delinquent property taxes. Why is that different than the list of income taxes?
I don't know. Somebody's gonna say confidentiality, but I don't know about that.
How is it more confidentiality than the
property taxes? I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't.
You know,
the property taxes are different from like income taxes.
How?
I'm just saying. It's just the federal government. I don't know. The federal law may apply on that. I'll ask Klitsky when he gets back.
Oh, there's a good question. So start banking them up for when he comes back. But if we're going to publish the list of people who are delinquent in property taxes, I don't see how that's different than publishing a list of people who are delinquent on their income taxes.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna get in a fight with you. Wait a second, I get a lawyer on the speed dial here, not the speed dial. I got him on Facebook Messenger. He might actually have got something to say about that. But anyway, at any rate, now imagine that Joanne Brown thinks that Rory ought to be removed as well.
Well, I mean, he's proven that he's more concerned about the financial welfare of politically well-connected insiders than he is about the people of Guam by his actions. By lying to the board, he's proven that he's not worthy of the trust the people placed in him in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And by acknowledging that he reports to Lou over the board, he's basically said that what the board says doesn't matter. Only what the governor says matters. So since he's not working for the board should terminate him.
Did you get a sense? I mean, just to reprise the conversation from yesterday, you were actually able to get some microphone time at the legislature. Were you able to discern from the conversations that you were having, or the responses of anybody over at these two nominees might be thinking along the same lines?
They didn't discuss the particulars of this case, but they were asked. And in my testimony, what I pointed out is that the senators need to go beyond the traditional rubber stamping of board members, because these board members have serious duties that affect the livelihood of the people of Guam, and they need to go deep in the weeds on this. And I cited Rory's comment in the media that his board will approve his actions, and that's why I wanted to make sure that the board questioned these nominees about potential conflicts of interest, because you can't serve two masters. That's been proven to the people of Guam time and time again, and now we know Rory serves the governor. So the last thing we need is to have a board that is going to be more concerned about the governor's approval than the approval of the public.
Does Rory have to go through what Daphne does over at Rev and Tax? Is there going to be any hearing for him?
No. Basically, his application was sent to the board of directors at the port, and they offered him the job. So the public really didn't get a chance to weigh in on it. But now I think we need to probably look at that process a little closer, because when we have people that are put in positions of great responsibility and great fiduciary responsibility, they need to be closely vetted. And I never saw or heard anything about a hearing before the board. I mean, basically, all it was an announcement. The regular board.
Yeah, that's right. Here's your guy.
Board directors meeting.
Yeah, here's your guy. 9:47. I was thinking about conversations that I've had with people inside the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration, and there's a list of people when I started looking over the names in the different departments and agencies and positions. There's a list of people, and I made my thoughts fairly clear, and was told, just give us 100 days. But, and you and I've already had that conversation. I gotta check and see when 100 days is up. Dude, I got to run.
Okay.
All right.
You can afford to give them 100 days, but the people of Guam can't, because they're making decisions now that are going to affect the people of Guam for the rest of their lives. That's why we got to stand up now and stop the insanity before it becomes contagious.
Now, I will say thanks very much. I thought it was interesting reading your letter to the editor today in the Daily Post about the world that you and I live in versus the world that members of the judiciary live in.
Well, we need to bring those two closer together, not farther apart, and that was the point of my letter.
No, the takeaway for me was that at the end of all of this, the criminals will have all of the rights and law-abiding citizens won't. And we see the same thing happening with guns and the gun grabbers and the gun control guys that sit around. And we're going to make new rules. We're going to make new regulations. And the only people that are going to be put out by these rules and regulations are the people that follow them, because we follow the law. But criminals don't care about the law, and they don't care about bans on magazine size and different kinds of ammunition that you can buy when you can buy ammunition. They don't care about that. They will go out there.
Permits.
They don't care about permits. They don't care about any of that stuff. And so the only people that are going to comply with these laws are people that don't break the laws. And that's what I wish the gun grabbers and the gun controllers would learn. So you amplify that point in your editorial this morning. Talking about
that's why we have to stop that catch and release program. It's one of the stupidest things we've got going here on Guam, expecting that people who've been arrested for the same crime 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times are going to refrain while they're out on release pending their next hearing.
Some people just don't know when the universe is trying to give them a message. I gotta run.
Okay, talk to you later.
You know you will. Ken LG. It's 9:49, and I'm going to take a real quick break. I'm going to take the last swig of warm coffee that I've got in my deal and wrap up the show.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for our all-new Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. How would you like it?
I'll take a skeptical grandma.
Set in her ways?
A smidge.
Grandma, try this Ultimate Meatball Marinara made with Ultimate Cheesy Garlic Bread. Melted mozzarella, Parmesan, garlic butter spread. It's just like yours.
Like mine? My grandmother's recipe?
Try it.
You know, my grandmother's cheesy garlic bread was never all that.
Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
My friend Evan Evan Mambo Cohen is on the Facebook. He hates it when I say his name, and that's why I take such great pleasure in actually doing it. I got Josephine Lujan Guerrero over there, as well as Kenny Williams, Richard Clark, and who else is playing around? Ray Haddock. And Ray's been helping me out doing some legal research here, some paper chasing this morning. I appreciate what you've sent me. I have it, and I've shared it with Kevin Kelligwin. Joey Charfris is online, as well as Bob O'Malley and Dennis Bensour is a buddy of mine. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some trail this weekend, but I guarantee it's going to be wet trail, huh? Mark Colby and Carla Torres Haddock, who was in the studio yesterday, Jose Martinez, who was praying for us sinners. I appreciate that. 9:51. As I look over the items on the table of contents, and I've told you this every day, there is a table of contents. I actually take down the time, my personal observations, things that people send me, stuff I see in the media, and that becomes the table of contents for the program, with little notes in this direction to talk about this sports event when Blake's here, or try to talk about this when Jerry is here, or yak up with Mike or Kevin, and so most of the time, I don't get to anywhere near it. Most of the time, at the end of the show, when I'm going, man, there's still half of this junk laying out there, and leave that to the other talk show guys. But there are a couple of things that I've got just a few minutes to ask questions about. Why am I getting so many messages from people on LinkedIn? I'm not totally linked out, but I will tell you this. If you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'm not going to get it. I don't visit it all the time. For me, it's just one of those things in the social media that I guess I'm supposed to be there, and every once in a while I'll read an interesting article, but it's just not where I go. But I'm getting messages from people, and I'm pretty sure there is some kind of hack going on. I think that's what's happening. I think there's some kind of a hack going on with LinkedIn, and now I'm getting because it's people like you are sending me things on LinkedIn, and I'm going, no, these people, if they wanted to reach out to me, they'd send me a WhatsApp, because we're that tight. Some of the people that are hitting me up on the LinkedIn, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 every day, and so I went to one and realized, oh, these guys want me to come in and log in with my password. Oh, I don't think I'm going to log in with my password on this site. This feels like phishing, and I'm not catching today. So just check your LinkedIn, if you will, and see if you haven't been hacked. And if you're getting messages from me, LinkedIn is definitely hacked, because I don't send messages to anybody on Facebook. Or on LinkedIn. You're more likely to hear from me on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and that's how this guy rolls.
I would send a smoke signal first.
You know, my dad, stone tablets.
Yeah,
that was his way. Stone tablets. He's right up until his last days, just send something out there.
Well, you don't have to backspace.
No, it's hard. Got to fill it in. Snowpack. Anyway, there's with the rash of hit and runs and auto pedestrian accidents that we've had, and the number of fatalities that we have had. And my isn't that interesting, come to think of it. Have we had auto pedestrians where the pedestrian has lived?
I do not recall that we have. Yeah, it seems like everyone that gets hit
is a fatality.
At high velocity.
Yeah, I'm not recalling that from any of the magistrate reports or any of that stuff.
Of course, in fairness, they are getting hit in areas where the volume is not light.
But the traffic is going, the traffic is going to be heavy, and it's going to be dark.
Right, and so you've got these cars that'll drive 50 miles an hour down Marine Corps Drive or everywhere else where,
no, it's Route 8.
35.
Route 8, I mean, that's I don't go slow on Route 8.
No, nobody does.
Yeah. It's one of those things. You want me to go slow, you got to put speed bumps out there. But at any rate, so now it looks like GPD wants to launch a traffic safety campaign. And this is going to be another one where it's going to be aimed at guys like us. It's going to be aimed at people that drive. And now we're going to be the ones that have to look out for the lunkheads. Now, this will sound like my position has changed drastically from what it was the other day. I don't believe that walking on the side of the road should be a death sentence, just because my heart is not quite that hard. But I will say this. We just need to find a way to keep people off the stinking roadways. Get off the road if you don't need to be using the sidewalk. And you're going to say, well, there's no sidewalk. Don't walk there then. then don't walk in that place if there's no sidewalk, because you're taking your life in your own hands. Now, the couple of places I've been trying to sort out if there's a way that we can make certain parts of the road where we don't have sidewalks safer. And, you know, putting up some traffic barricades and barriers and things like that. But, you know, the truth is that those things are going to get mangled by the same drunks that weren't paying attention to safe driving anyway. And so I think we've got that combination of people that are too drunk to be able to watch what's happening on the roadway, and people that are too drunk to realize that they're walking on the roadway. And that might end up being what's happening out there.
Don't forget about the ones that are walking in the roadway and just simply don't care.
Yeah, well, I saw a guy the other day, broad daylight, and this guy, I hope, never ever gets behind the wheel, because he's guilty of doing what a lot of people do behind the wheel, and it is dart into traffic to try to get in front of these two cars. I got to get in front of these two cars. I got to get across the road. I got to get into their lane before these two cars get there. And then you look behind those two cars, and there's nobody coming for a mile. But the guy had to get in front of me. I saw this guy. He almost got hit by the second cars. He was crossing from American Music across the way to the airport hotel.
Wow.
And he just tears butt all the way across. And I'm going, if you'd waited 2 seconds for these two cars to pass, you could have walked across the roadway and had plenty of time to spare. And naturally, I was running at the time. I passed the guy, and I just wanted to ask him, was he born stupid or raised that way? Because, you know, sometimes there are people that just don't have it from birth, and then there's other people you just got to drill stupid into them.
Well, keep in mind, we had the Naked Walking Morning Show not too long ago.
Yes, exactly. Another guy out there, the crazy gun up people. That's the best advice I can give you. And so as you gun up, remember, we've got castle doctrine in this town. Isn't that a groovy thing? And they're looking at ways to make the castle doctrine follow you wherever you go, wherever you're allowed to go. How many points for that one? Now, there was a public hearing that they had over at the legislature on Joe S.'s Stand Your Ground bill, and he's listened carefully to what people had to say about his Stand Your Ground bill and has made some adjustments to it. Now, I haven't read the adjustments, but the media because I'm lazy like that, but the media that I have read on it suggests that you may respond. You don't have a duty to retreat. You should if you can, but you're not required to in that split-second moment of flee or fight. And so I think he's rolled that in there. But now he heard from Bob Klitsky. Bob Klitsky's advice was to make it so that if you are responding, that you are responding proportionally. So I guess if that means that somebody's coming up on you and he wants to fight you and punch you in the mouth, you're well within your rights to reach out and punch him in the mouth and then call the police or do whatever it is. And I guess as the threat escalates, you are able to escalate with your response. So it's going to be proportional. I can hardly wait for cases to get to court on this one. How do we define proportional?
There are police that have a problem with that sometimes.
Exactly.
And they're trained.
Yeah. So I've got a gun. Somebody comes to me with a knife. Do I wait? Do I pull out a knife on this guy? Because knives are just as deadly as guns in the right hands. Somebody comes up on me. I've got a gun. He's got a bat, but he's bigger than me. By virtue of the fact that he's bigger than me, and I'm 56 years old, and that's too old to get my butt whipped, guess what? I'm going to pistol. As far as I'm concerned, a younger, bigger guy with a bat is a deadly threat to me, and a proportional response to me is to eliminate the threat legally. It's 9:59. Maybe we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. I got to go because it's 10. Core 3, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get you some updates as the afternoon continues, right up to Tall Tales at 4.
He had a hit list. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Federal prosecutors say a Coast Guard officer is under arrest on gun charges, and he intended to target civilians.
Federal prosecutors say they arrested an active duty Coast Guard Lieutenant, Christopher Paul Hassan, who allegedly planned to kill